What's up, Mr. Abel?
We got a special guest here today.
We got a very special guest.
You know, I kind of like our new theme that we're going, having guests on here, because just talking to you gets boring.
Look how little I am
Somebody
right now. What's going on?
Sitting in these
tiny
chairs,
chair.
man.
Oh, you know what it is? Mr. Brett asked me if he wanted, if I wanted him to polish stuff up and leather and all, and I said yeah. So he probably, in order for him to reach the chairs,
We,
he had to get on the ladder and then bring them
I
down.
put a booster in here.
Yeah.
For him. The last time we were talking about having him on, I said, like, hey, man, I'll put a booster. Nobody can tell, you know. Or,
So if you didn't know, Brett's not allowed on the podcast,
Why?
but we could talk about him on the
Okay.
podcast.
Why isn't he allowed on the podcast?
He got a couple of invitations, which he denied,
Oh.
and we said okay,
Well,
problem.
fine. His loss.
yep, two invitations. That's it.
so now he just gets picked on with him not being here.
He doesn't get to defend himself. So,
Yeah, what's going on,
Mr. Alex
man?
Suarez,
What's up, guys?
3rd degree black belt.
Yes, sir.
He can do all kinds of man, dude. This guy, you seen this guy flip and levitate and just like glide around the mats like a Jedi?
Oh, yeah. Dude, not only that, he's an actor, producer, director, you name it. You know,
Very,
all
very,
around,
very talented. According to my father, Alex Suarez can do anything, and he'll do it perfectly.
Your dad is the most encouraging person maybe in my life.
You notice that he shares every single thing that you post. Like he'll like share it.
Yeah.
Like he like reposts.
No,
it.
and he'll like send me messages and stuff like that that are
So
just
awesome.
like just gifts and encouraging things and
So
stuff like
so
that.
without
He's real
further
nice.
ado, Mr. Alex Suarez.
Guys, I love what you've been doing here, by the way, this podcast. And
Thank you.
everything.
It was out of
Awesome.
it was out of survival.
Yeah.
I mean, really. So we had that first hard closure, right, for
Mm-hmm.
COVID, and we were thinking, how in the heck are we going to still communicate with our people?
Right.
You know, with the parents, with our students, with other instructors, if we can't even be in here,
Right.
you know, training.
I love that. I love that.
You know, we Gary had a crazy idea, and he had been talking about it, and then so he mentioned it one more time, and I was like, let's do it, and that was it.
Great.
So the crazy thing with Abel, and I've said this on several podcasts, is I've always had people that go, hey, let's do it. Oh, yeah. This sounds great. This sounds great. Next day I come in, he had a big old mic right in the middle. He's like, we're going to do it. Let's do it.
We started off with one of those, God, what are those called? Yeti? No.
It's
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah, it was you remember we talked about it.
That's right.
Because when this whole
I
first started, Abel came to me for all of my vast knowledge of microphone setup.
Dude, I didn't know the first thing about it. I just knew that you and I needed to get together
Yeah.
and record it.
Well, okay,
That's all I
so
knew.
it's funny that you say we started this out of survival. So, Steph and I and Dan Franklin, my girlfriend Stephanie Wall, like we started this, and our technical producer Sam Mikulek, just getting all the names out there. Sorry, we started a show.
All gorgeous people. Very
That's
talented.
funny.
I'm the ugliest one of the bunch, but we started this thing called Quarantine with Friends, and that was a weekly show that we would do comedy on. We would do live show. We would, we'd have segments, and it was kind of like Live with Kelly and Ryan, but with alcohol instead of coffee.
Yeah.
And we'd have special guests on.
With alcohol instead of coffee.
and
That's
we
awesome.
had people we had lots of different people from the stunt world to the musical theater world. To everything in between, and it was awesome. But like we were figuring out the technical aspects of that as we went along because we'd never done it before. We never done anything like that before.
See,
and so
that's shocking to me to hear. Like, I would think that you guys had been doing this for like 20 years already. Like
yeah,
the whole
but you know
podcasting
what?
thing.
But it's different. It's different. You go on set. You have a guy with a boom pole.
Right.
And now we're trying to learn how to take that boom pole and make it into a microphone. And then what kind of microphone do we get?
Right.
And then we need an interface to go into the computer. And then we need to figure out how well we can use Zoom. And then there goes farther because now we have things like OBS. So we have our technical director, and he's like making graphics that are happening live.
That's what you were just talking
on
about.
the screen and stuff like that within Zoom. And also doing musical performances was a big thing. And Zoom is not built for this kind of stuff, And so trying to learn how to incorporate musical performances and stuff like that has been really difficult.
So you guys are so your pivot was
Mm-hmm.
instead of being on a stage, take it to a setting like this and pretty much perform there, correct?
Right, exactly. Except you have to modify it, right? Like if you're teaching Krav Maga,
Major modification.
right? But like the thing is that if you're teaching Krav, for example, on the mat, right? You've got your partners and you're doing your drills, and it's like 360 defenses or grappling techniques or something, or knife or gun. You have somebody attack with a knife, and then you fight and you take the knife away, whatever, and then you switch. But if you're doing this at home and you're doing it in front of Zoom, you can't be like, okay, so the guy comes at you through the air, and then you have to change your drills.
I get it.
Right?
Right.
You have to change your drills to accommodate people at home, and you have to kind of do the same thing with entertainment. You have to change your entertainment to be more palatable through the medium that you're communicating.
So I totally get that, because I told him, I said, if we're back on Zoom again.
He's like, F that. I'm not.
I mean, I'll do it, of course. I always give him crap. We've had this discussion this week. I'm going to give him crap.
We were literally going to put gloves on.
Anytime
he says discussion, it's just like it's like a hair away from putting gloves on. So, otherwise, we just had to talk.
You guys should just talk like in front of the heavy bags. Every time you get pissed off, bang!
Punch a heavy bag.
Yeah. So yeah, our personalities we've learned that are like this. I mean, we're best of friends, but it's like.
But that's how we get along. It's like yin yang, dude.
Yeah.
Anyways, but Zoom. Oh man, I was like, first time I did, I was like, I can teach, choke. I can do that. No, dude, it's completely different.
Totally different.
Totally different.
The energy's different too.
It is.
Energy.
So how do you find how do you balance that?
Well, it's funny that you say the energy is different. I got so much of my fix of live performing literally through teaching on the mat for so many years.
That's funny.
Because you are performing in a sense. You have to keep that energy up. You have to bring people in. You have to engage your audience, so to speak, to make them learn what you're trying to teach them, Like if I'm going, okay, so you're going to go 360 here, and then you're going to hold on. Like I've had teachers that do that, and they're so much less engaging. But when you're a dynamic instructor and stuff like that, it's way more fun. So it's the energy of wanting to get back to a live performance or get back to being.
So now that you guys are doing this online through Zoom, is that what you're doing?
Yeah, we're doing it through Zoom. Yeah. But we're funneling it through YouTube now.
Got it. So I guess I was going to ask the financial aspect of it, because when you're on the stage, it's kind of like a no-brainer. Well, you're on stage, people buy tickets or show up, whatever. So how does this work?
So we'll do, YouTube ad revenue is a big thing. Also, but honestly, like tips. People will tip every week for the show. So what we did is we created this network with our friend Paul Carganella and Jamie Carganella, and it's called the Audacity Network. And so we have this variety.
Did you say Paul Crocodile?
Paul Carganella.
Oh, okay.
And his wife, Jamie. So Jamie is actually an officer. She's a police officer, and
cool.
Paul is a dispatcher.
Right on. Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it's super cool. Now, they're both also performers. They used to work at Disneyland.
Which is the harder job?
Man, I don't know.
Dispatchers, I know a lot of dispatchers that don't stay dispatchers very long.
That's tough.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry.
No, it's good. I mean, he's and he also runs their PR stuff. So he's a super cool dude, and he runs something called Paulie's Online Variety Show. And a lot of you guys that have seen like our musical performances and stuff, a lot of that has been for that show. And then we combined all of our shows, and we made this thing called the Audacity Network, which is super cool. So people will tip, and that's a main source of how much money everyone gets is from those tips. They go into a pot, or they tip individually, and they all get.
Alex, I didn't know that, but that's a great idea.
Yeah, it's awesome. And then, but people also we are working on doing shows where we're going to be like selling tickets to events, like digital concerts, so to speak.
So our people, like our students and anybody listening to us, would be able to just like get this information, and maybe we put some like all your stuff, and then we'll put it that way you can click on it. That's really cool. So I mean, everybody, you see what I'm saying? Everybody is pivoting, learning new things, reinventing themselves. Finding new ways to make money or to get at least a trickle of money in from different avenues. And so this stuff is like, it forces us to grow, right?
Dude, what is that?
I mean, what would you call it?
No, growth.
Because at first it's like a survival thing, but then it's like, oh, wait a minute, there's something here.
What's crazy, like how adaptable people are. We can change and morph into whatever we need to do to survive, but it's not everybody. I know a ton of people right now that aren't doing anything. They are just weathering the storm. They don't want to go out. They don't want to make any content. They are just like weathering the storm.
Listen.
And I mean, fine,
it's fine. But for me, like I would go crazy just waiting it out.
But also, I don't think it's the right move. You know, I think you got to hustle.
Well, it's like us. We say attack the attack, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
We got to attack the attack.
So for a bunch of guys who need feedback, I think you got to make content. You got to do something different. You got to be, like you said, we teach because we like that interaction with people. We like doing all that. So this is like our next outlet too. So I get that. And when I've seen you guys' performances, they're pretty funny. And it's, if you don't know Alex, I've known Alex forever. And to like now all of a sudden see him singing, I'm like, where the hell did this come from?
Dude, he's got some pipes on him, man.
Hey, what's up?
Yeah, so, okay, I've always seen you do stunts, do flips, all kinds of stuff.
Yep.
Acting, and all that stuff is on point. But you started singing. And I remember telling you this. I was like, dude, I saw that video you posted up, and I was like, that was not you. And you're like, no, that was me. I was like, dude, that was a whole bunch of editing. No, that was me. I was like, singing, and he sang here, and I was just like, what? Where did that come from? So how did you get into this?
That's my girlfriend, Stephanie Wall, who has been on Broadway. I mean, she's done everything. She's an incredible actress and an incredible singer. And she's just been kind of giving me vocal lessons. And again, it's like I couldn't train because all the gyms were closed. I couldn't really do any acrobatics because I could. I was training. We were doing that for a little while, but it's like
there's only so much you can do in your
there's
backyard.
Only so much you can do, and I also wanted to learn a new skill, and I saw an opportunity to do it. And singing is something I've always wanted to do, but always been really terrified to do. And now I had the opportunity where I had a medium. I had a show that we were doing every week where Dan Franklin, who's a singer who has 6 albums out plus, I don't know. I mean, he has albums that no one's even ever heard of because he kept them to himself. Like he has so much content. And Steph, who's also obviously an incredible singer, that's what she does for a living. And I am sitting in the middle of all this talent going, what a resource that I'm not tapping into.
Yeah,
it'd be like around all my friends who are all black belt martial artists and like, nah, I'm good. I don't need to learn martial arts. Like, no, go learn some stuff from your friends, you know?
Yeah, seriously.
And so that's what I started doing. I started training weekly and doing songs every week, even though I know I wasn't the best, like when I started. And I'm still not. I still got so much to learn. I'm still like working every week, but I'll do songs every week. And I'll get frustrated and keep doing it.
So this is what I admire about the people we hang around with. Like the people we surround ourselves with. And I know you're familiar with what I'm going to say. Everybody has so many different talents and different walks of life because in our group, I mean, we have people, like I said, that are from law enforcement to lawyers to actors and singers to all this other, like it's just so many eclectic. It's an eclectic group, right? And if you want to learn something, you literally just have to tap a shoulder. Yesterday, I sent a text to AJ. I was cooking, and I was getting kind of tired of kind of the spices that I'm using and stuff. I just wanted a different taste. So I text AJ, and I go, hey, AJ, I was like, man, pardon the ignorance, is like Cajun spices, like quote unquote Cajun spices, like is that just like a marketing thing? Or like do you really, like your family use like an actual like mix of spices that you go to? And he goes, no. He goes, well, both. He goes, yeah, it's a marketing thing, but it is a thing. Right. He's like, let me get right back to you. I'm going to hit up my cousin. He's a chef in New Orleans. And I was like, dude, he's a chef. He's not going to give you his secrets. Yeah. He goes, it's family. You don't keep secrets from family. Yeah. No lie. 2 minutes later, text me back.
Whole list.
Just recipes. He gave me the Cajun, the blackened, because I wanted like a blackened seasoning. Yeah. And I was like, dude, all you got to do in this place is tap someone. Yep. And that's it.
I always said this place is like church. Whereas like if you can go to church and you have every person from every walk of life there, profession-wise and skill-wise. Like everyone does something different. You have actors, you have dancers, you have pharmacists and engineers and everything in between. This place is the same. It is. You have everyone here. I mean, everything from doctors and lawyers to performers to carpenters and
martial arts. Unites us all.
Yeah.
That's cool.
It's religion, man.
Isn't that cool?
It's freaking religion. It's a unifying factor. And that goes across all martial arts, which is a wonderful thing.
Yeah, because not too long ago, we had Professor Matt Salinas on here, 10th Planet. Shout out to 10th Planet. And he was saying something similar about like sharing information. Like that's just kind of his philosophy. That's how he walks, you know?
I mean, yesterday was my first day back at 10th Planet.
Woo! Yeah. How'd that go, baby?
Oh, man, my neck is sore.
dude, that makes me smile,
dude.
Man.
It was a blast. I had a great time. It was awesome. It was a great class working on guard passing and different things like that. And it's just like it's so good to get back in there, and
it's a bunch of good guys over there, man.
Oh man, everyone is so good, and everyone is such a good attitude, and it's you get in such a flow state of just this primal
telling you, man.
Fun.
I gotta get over there. I mean,
this is awesome.
I gotta get over there.
Look, it's not just the place, but like they train hard, but they have fun, and they don't take themselves so serious. Like
no,
it's such a good learning atmosphere.
But you know what I think that is, though? I think one of the main things to remember is, like, the better you get at stuff and the more martial arts you learn, the more humble you get, because the more you realize how many freaking killers there are out there.
This guy's a total martial artist, so people don't realize that he also had done Tung Sudo, I'm not sure what else, now Jiu-Jitsu,
Yeah, I like to run the gamut of a little bit, yeah.
So how I met Alex was one night I was over in Costa Mesa when we had our studio over there, and one of the first nights I was new. They said, "Oh, you can go do a class at Franklin." I was like, "Cool, I'll go over there. I'll check it out."
Oh, it was like the old Costa Mesa one, not the newer Costa Mesa one.
No, yeah, the older one. So I go in there and Dan's, they're doing their kata and Tracy was next to you.
Yeah.
Dang, that's a long time ago.
And then I just remember watching them going, oh, and I talked to Dan about doing Tung Sudo, and the only reason why...
maybe about 12 years ago? 13 years ago, maybe?
Yeah, it was probably about 13.
Yeah.
Right around there. And then I was like, I'm really interested in this. Like, I love this, And...
you hadn't trained, though?
No.
Okay.
Hadn't trained. I'm still new to krav,
got
pretty much.
It. Okay.
I've only had like a few classes, but I see them. I see how high he's kicking, and he's like this tall, and then I see Tracy. She's like this tall.
Was that a dig?
Yeah,
that was a dig.
A little bit of a dig.
Yeah.
So I'm like this tall, so I figure I can do it, right?
Oh, that's funny.
We're all short in here, except for Abel. And Abel.
Whatever, man. Everyone is friggin' huge. All our training partners coming up were just enormous.
Oh, that's funny.
But yeah, no, I mean, I love doing Tung Sudo. I love doing traditional martial arts, and people I love krav, and people assume that because I love krav, I just love just breaking through things and barely, because krav is all attack the attack and beat aggression with aggression.
It's very aggressive. Yep.
And we fought relentlessly here. Like, people don't get it. Like,
that's why we're all messed up.
That's why we're all messed up now. But
was it worth it?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like I
have good stories about him.
Yes, it was. Yes,
he's probably gotten more bashed than a lot of people.
So yes, it was worth it, but. There's a caveat there, right?
Yeah,
we could have been a little bit smarter about how we did it.
We could have been smarter about how we trained. But
so we implement this stuff now because we want everybody to last a long time.
We had like a 3 to 4 year period where we...
Dude, we were just like...
banging, man. Just every fight class. Every Thursday we would go in there, and it wouldn't be a class until somebody was covered in blood.
Thursday and Saturday, it was just...
Yeah.
You knew it was going to just...
But Thursday nights, right?
Thursday nights over in Costa Mesa, man. That was fight night.
That was like, that's where the big dogs come out.
And that was something like people, not everyone went there. Like, people would go and they would be like, well, there's no levels here. There's no white belt to black belt thing. Yeah. It's like, you're going to get in here and you're going to fight who you're going to fight. And they're going to be bigger than you, and they're going to be stronger than you, or they're going to be faster than you. And you better keep your damn hands up.
Yeah, dude.
Because this is people are coming here to get their rounds in.
Yeah, somebody from the jiu-jitsu studio, 10th Planet, said, hey, do you guys spar? I heard that they don't spar in Krav Maga. And I was like...
This is important to address, though. Yeah. This is really important to address.
I just kind of looked at him like, oh, are you serious?
Well, it's true, because people don't hear... We were talking about this the other day. I don't know if you were there, G. We were saying that a lot of Krav Maga... I think it can get a lot of flack, and a lot of the reasons that people don't want to post video of some Krav Maga stuff is a lot of aspects of it are theoretical in some ways, right? Like, we can't get into a clinch and bite somebody's ear off and see how they're actually going to react. Whereas,
you can.
You can, but that's the last time you're going to that gym. Yeah. But in like jiu-jitsu, you can see how well a back take works, because you're going to freaking drill it, and you're going to try to do it on your partner, and they're going to not let you, or you're going to work. It's going to work. But the thing is that we kickbox like crazy. Like, we fight, and we train boxing. We train Muay Thai. We take these aspects and we implement them. And then we have these people that come from the boxing world, that come from the grappling world, that are good. And we work with them and we learn from them and they learn from us. And so there's no BS. We train hard here.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think that's what we were going to probably hit on with Matt. And I think Matt wanted to talk about it a little bit too.
Yeah, he still had some questions.
And I think in the United States, Krav Maga altogether gets that bad stigma, because there's so many saturated.
Well, listen, I mean, I'm not going to say any names, and we're extremely respectful to the martial arts world and other schools and stuff. But it is fair to say that some of the stuff that I see out there being put out by some Krav schools, I'm just like, why would you put something like that up? Like, I just use your better. They don't know any better, man. Just use your better judgment.
Yeah, man. But they don't know any better. There is no better judgment.
And then when I see something like that, compared to the stuff we do here, I'm just like how is that even considered Krav Maga? Like, to each their own. But what I'm saying is, we don't have, as a Krav Maga school, we don't have control and or filter for every Krav Maga school out there. Right. And so.
Right. The thing is like, I always cracks me up when people say it's not real this or it's not real that. That always makes me laugh. Like, I was watching something and one of the comments was, "This is not real Kung Fu." And I'm like, homie, there is no such thing as a real anything. It was made up by somebody at some point. Right. Some guy 5,000 years ago was like, this is it. And they made it up.
And the fun part of that is then everybody's like, oh, man, look at Jeet Kune, or what is it?
Jeet Kune Do.
Jeet Kune Do. This is basically Krav Maga.
In a lot of ways, there's a lot of similar aspects.
I mean, there's a lot of kung fu and there's a lot of
too much fancy hands for
stuff,
me. But
But that's what I'm saying. They're okay with it because it came from the man himself, which is cool. I agree. I want to go do it too, but at the same time, it's like, you got to come taste it. You know what I mean? You got to come taste it.
Listen, it's like we say, what's going to go on our curriculum? How do we know what has our stamp of approval? You drill it live.
Yeah.
Like, you go, and if it works. It works. Well, if it doesn't work, then you throw it out.
Right. When you talk about gun defenses and people are always like, well, no one's going to stand like that or move like that. Well, no, obviously not. But we work from a position of disadvantage all the time when it comes to a gun. And we'll train that because we'll get rubber bullets. We'll get simunition rounds.
People don't know that we do.
And we'll put guns and we'll start punching people in the face with headgear and throwing people around, pointing the gun in their face and moving like we're robbing a place. And we do these situations, and you got to go. And if you miss, you get shot.
Yeah. So for those of you at home that don't know what simunitions are, it's pretty much like a step above a rubber bullet. So if you get shot,
it hurts.
I remember one test.
I got a big chunk out of my arm from one of those things.
I remember.
Hey,
that.
we had a.
You were wearing a sweatshirt too.
No, I wasn't. No, that's why I got a chunk. I was in the middle of it was like the overnighter for my second degree or something like that. And I'm going, and we're going out. And I don't know what happened to the pad work. We practiced flipping the switch to going from just a normal human, and now you got to be an animal. You have to just become a primal creature just to make it through all of this stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm just wailing on the pads, and then they say go. And I had to rip my sweater off because I was too hot halfway through, and I was like, F it. I'm not even putting it back on. And I pick up the firearm, I tap and rack, and I go through the door, and AJ just comes out of a corner. And I haven't even scanned the full environment yet. I've checked a corner, and he's out the other door and just firing off rounds, and just I see out of the corner of my eye something, a little cover zone, and so I'm firing back as I'm getting to, but my hands are extended here, and one round as I'm moving comes and hits me right in the tricep and takes a hole out of me, right through, and I'm like, and then I put 3 in AJ's chest.
I've been shot by Miss Christina. Christine.
Yeah.
I was playing safety. I got torn up at one of these things. And they're like, you're safety guy now. Stand in the doorway with your jacket on, and so nobody will come. And you just say, hey, right. Safety, go that way, whatever. So I'm sitting there, and Christine was so amped up. We had her firearm. She comes through the door, and I'm all, hey, I'm safety. Pop, 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 pop. Just lays into me. I'm like, oh,
the only thing about simunitions is that they're so expensive. I think each round is almost like $2.
No, $2.
Yeah, it's like $1.89 or something like that.
Oh my God, that's insane.
But I mean, it really does take your training another. So
it does.
On my overnighter, our scenario was I'm not going to try to give away too much, but we have to clear a house pretty much.
Sure.
Right. That's all I'm going to say. And my scenario was, you get home from work, it's late, you notice that your door is cracked open. So it's closed, but like you see, like it's not closed all the way. And you know that your wife is home, like some family is home at that time normally. All right, that was it. That's all I knew. Okay. And then they ask you, do you carry or do you not carry? Right. And so if you don't carry CCW, then you don't have a gun to go into your house with. Right. And if you do, then whatever.
If you do, then you may get a gun somewhere where it normally is
exactly.
in your house.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. In this case, I said, no, I don't have a CCW. And so I had to go in bare hands, right? And so I go in and I'm still plying the rooms and stuff. Sure. Then I hear like in another room, like somebody crying. And they're simulating like if it was like Gloria, like my wife.
Sure.
It gets real. Real fast.
Yeah.
And this is like, like 13th hour, 14th hour. This is the overnighter.
Yeah.
And
for those of you guys who don't know, sorry, at home, an overnighter is we're literally training overnight.
Yeah, you don't sleep, you don't rest,
sleep, you don't do anything. Yeah, you go through it because they want us to be in this deteriorated mental state and have to rely on our reflex and our training.
Yes.
And that's how you know if you're more advanced. That's how you know if you're ready for a black belt, is because it's like everything is to the wind and you're still able to pull off technique.
Right. So I hear somebody crying in the other room, and dude, it's just I just feel it like all the back of my neck, like just dude, like it's on. Like that's my wife. Like in my head, that is really my wife.
Sure.
Yeah. Somebody comes out from like peripheral vision, comes out with the gun, like about to put it on my head, disarm, right, tap rack, pop, pop, right to the chest, and so then I go to the room. So that person's down.
Right.
Go into the room. I had to pie it because that's where the person's crying, and then there's a whole scene in there, dude. I'm telling you, like that's somebody playing that part, but
their faces are covered, by the way, guys. So you don't know who it is.
Yeah. So the crying and the screams or the yelling or any of that stuff it's like very real. It just consumes you. So long story short, I get out of that, but they're doing the debrief, right? So I grab my wife, take her out, whatever, disarm whoever's in there and all that stuff. And they're doing the debriefing, right? And so while they're doing the debriefing, the scene is now cold, right? Nothing's going on.
Right.
And as they're talking to me, I'm not even hearing them.
Yeah.
Like I got like tears coming down my eyes, dude. And I was just like all amped up. I was ready to kill someone else. Yeah. Like, dude, it just becomes real. The scenarios that they come up with, and the way they do the psychological and physical pressure and stress,
right?
Dude, it takes you there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
For Beach Cities, dude, I only missed 2 black belt tests. 2, I think. Might have been one of yours. I missed one of them.
Yeah. No, you were there for mine.
But I've been there, and so. We were in the very first one for Beach Cities. Right?
You want to know why I know you were there for mine?
Why is that?
Because as I came into one of the fighting like scenarios, I came into the room and it was pitch black, like you couldn't see anything, and then some strobe lights turn on, right? So it's like blinding. As soon as I turn around to look at the strobe lights, boom! I guess who it was.
It sucked right in
so I'll never forget that. So you were there.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Maybe it was me. But so check this story out. We're sitting there, right? And it's like Luke, Jimmy, Christine.
Was this
that was at
Woody's warehouse?
Yeah. That was one of our best ones.
God, that was awesome.
So we're going at it with these guys, and I'm tore up already, And so Bo's like, "You're gonna be the initiator. Alex is gonna come out of the closet like he's been waiting for you, and he's gonna be your backup. You're going to be the initiator, though, and you're going to have a gun."
Oh, this is hilarious.
And I go, "Okay. Hey, coming through is Luke. So be ready. Here we go. We're going live. Boom."
Luke was a monster.
No, he's not. He was. He
still is a monster. But like when he was here in this scenario, he still is a freaking monster.
Yeah. He has his own school, by the way.
Yep.
So he literally walks through the door, and he goes, "Put the gun down." I said, "You want some of me?" He goes, "Yeah." And he foot stomps me across the room, dude. Boom! And then at that point, Alex is supposed to come out and help me.
He's like, "No."
Alex said, "No." I just got my butt handed to me, man.
All I see, I'm cracking through the door and I'm looking, and I hear Luke going, "Hey, I don't want to hurt you, man. I don't want to hurt you." And then I see Gary fly across the frame of my mind.
So how tall is Luke?
Luke
6'5"?
No, he's not 6'5". I think he's 6'3".
Yeah, 6'2", 6'3".
Oh, he's not 6'5", he's 6'3". Oh, like
I think he's between 6'1" and 6'3".
Like foot size like a 15.
But and strong as a freaking ox. Dude. I mean, that guy had just the most power.
That's like country strong. Dude. You ever hear that? Yeah. That's country strong. He's country strong.
Thick.
Yeah, man. And all I see is Gary fly across my sight.
Alex.
Yeah, I didn't come out of the closet.
He didn't even come out.
That's smart.
I did get killed by Luke later though, because I came at him with a shock knife. It's another one of our training tools that we have. It's you press the button and
it sounds vicious too.
It is. It sounds vicious and it sucks when you get hit with it.
Especially if you're sweaty.
Yeah, because that's how you know you got stabbed. We don't just use the lipstick mark blades, which are fun too. But these shock knives will tase you if you get touched.
Yeah.
And so I'm running at him with a shock knife, and he hits me. Like, I don't even get to him. And I fly back, and I just stay down.
Yeah, dude, he's stronger than
Oh, man.
I got tore by Luke that night, and Jimmy. Jimmy took my nuts to my head about 10 times, dude. He probably used that better than anybody I know. And literally it was like, hey, give me your, what are you doing? That's all I felt. It was like, my nuts just going into my head. Dude.
But see, so I love these training scenarios. And I love them not just because we need training in real life scenarios like this. Like if you look at, SWAT, or you look at military application of this stuff where they have to clear rooms. They go through this training because that's what they're going to be doing. Hopefully we never have to endure this. But the mental fortitude it takes to be able to think and be able to say, okay, around this corner, I hear footsteps and I know that my VIP or my hostage or whatever is around there. I have to go in smart. To have to think about that in the stress when you haven't slept for all this time and you've been working relentlessly.
You know who I saw that with was AJ. Ooh, man.
Remember that night?
That PTSD came out big time, man.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Man, I was like, I'm going to have to
I don't think I've ever seen him at that state, like at that aggressive mental state.
No, that was one of those nights, man.
I was like, dude, you know what?
AJ's been through some stuff.
Yeah. Right. But that's what...
Yeah.
But we're like, we got to tell him to go sit.
That's what you're saying, that it takes you to a place where you're
like literally, I'm not going to get into the scene, but literally after that scene, like all the safety people, we all had we're like, hey, he's got to go sit. Like, take him outside. He's got to we got to remove him from this right now.
Yeah. And that happens. And that happens. But
scary, dude.
Yeah. But the thing is that at the end of the day, it gets you there, but you know somewhere that it is fake. But in the middle of it, your adrenaline is pumping so freaking hard. It could be real, and the reaction would be minimally different.
Seriously.
Yeah, minimally different. Because it also really sucks when you get shot. Like, it hurts. Like, you freaking feel it. And then on top of it, your pride. So it's like you really...
It's like grinding your teeth. And
there's a lot that goes into it. And so anyway, this is all a roundabout way to say there are aspects of krav that are theoretical. But there are, I think, more aspects that we trial test like crazy with these kinds of things.
Yeah, I agree.
And when it comes to specific technique, like what bear hug defense do you do? What defense is the best one if somebody comes up and gets you in a guillotine choke? There's a million different defenses, and I think the more I've learned, the more I've gotten to a place of, as you advance, you should learn multitudes of them. What if their arm's positioned a little more this way? What if it's a little more that way? But the mindset is crucially important. A basic set of techniques and a mindset is what Krav Maga really thrives on. And the techniques are there, and they work, and they're really effective. And they're a really good baseline for pretty much any other martial art you want to go learn. But I think in a well-rounded sense, this curriculum, this school, is a really good way to keep people safe.
Well, we've had some time to elaborate it, right? I mean, it's like, at this point, all of us have been around each other for almost 15 years.
Right.
With a couple of us, even more than that. Like Stan's been, I think,
since it was
So I mean, and by this point, pretty much every instructor, with the exception of like one or two, are black belts or above. So you have all these perspectives, and then everybody that's involved in this teaching is learning other things, whether it's jiu-jitsu, whether it's eskrima sticks, whether it's whatever, all this other stuff. And so, I mean, our curriculum is from all these years of going through this stuff. You know what I mean?
And we change it. You know, when we find better technique from different martial arts.
If it's better, it's better.
If it's better, it's better. We got no ego about it. We're just trying to make everybody as safe as we possibly can.
Exactly. I like that. Because there isn't any ego involved. It's not like, oh no, this is the way. It has to be this way
Mandalorian.
forever. Yeah,
I was just gonna say,
This is the way.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen the new one, today's episode that came out,
haven't.
We watched it at midnight last night. Unbelievable.
Oh, I
Hey,
can't
dude,
wait.
they're doing a good job with that.
Hey,
man.
listen.
God.
I like to wait because I love to binge.
Yeah.
And I don't. And so like I'm like waiting. I'm on episode like 2.
So
I'm of the second season. So I'm waiting.
This season is very fan
driven.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Last week, Gloria and I had 3 to watch, and we were just like, dude, what a treat. Because like you said, like you get to binge a little bit. It was like 3 back to back, you know? I was like, oh, this is so
We just
cool.
love Baby Yoda.
Yeah, he's cool, man.
Baby Yoda, yeah, exactly.
You know what I like? I like the backstories, right? Like there's one scene where there's a Jedi and the Mandalorian, and then see, like I didn't know some of that stuff, like that. Mortal enemies.
So
and
try
stuff.
having
like,
a kid, dude, at home who's like a
knows everything.
fanatic, dude, about this.
Oh, Shane?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's just a fanatic. So he's like, yeah, you know why that lightsaber's
like
that
telling you.
color? And you know why?
Dude, when he came out with the black saber, I was like, oh, snap.
Yep.
At the end of season 1. I mean, that was so cool.
That's funny.
So if you haven't seen this next episode, I won't spoil it for anybody. I spoil it all the time for Jacko by accident.
Jacko, who was actually in The Mandalorian.
Yeah,
was,
he
yeah.
yeah. And
one of our instructors for Eluze at Home, one of our instructors is in the, what is that called? The
501st.
501st.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what they do is they dress up as they're all the villains, right?
So-
it's just villains.
They're all stormtroopers.
Yeah, they're all stormtroopers.
Yeah, and they go to hospitals, children's hospitals, and they do a bunch of
They
cool
do
stuff.
fillers. They do all kinds of stuff.
And so
man.
they also, because that's how they started, and then because they do all this good work, they were recognized by George Lucas and all these people. And
John Favreau.
Yeah,
said,
and
hey,
that's-
we need to have them in.
and so now they put them in their stuff, which is awesome. Yeah.
Do you want to know some of the backstory for that?
Yeah. No, go ahead, because I got some backstory too.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah.
Go.
So Shane was telling me, he was like, the 501st, you know who the 501st are, right? I was like, no. He's like, in the Clone Wars, they were all cloned, and they were the 501st Infantry. So when they became the 501st, this group was like, we want to be the 501st.
Oh, got it.
And so that's how that name came about. It wasn't just like that.
Yeah, well, they were also the main unit that they're the main unit that was with
Vader, right?
Yeah, Anakin and Ahsoka and Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
And they were all big.
That's cool. See, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
But no, the backstory with Jacko and the 501st of them getting on there is all of their stormtrooper costumes are all true.
Legit, right?
They're true to the show. They are so authentic.
Yep.
And they needed so many. Thank you, Abel. Thank you. They needed so many outfits. I think this is the way. I think Jacko was telling me this. They needed just so many costumes, and they weren't going to be able to produce.
Right, they didn't have the budget.
They didn't have the budget or the
Insane.
time. They just didn't have enough time to fabricate all of these costumes because all of them are custom fitted to their bodies. Like all of them, like fit.
Yeah,
to
you
their,
have to melt it like to your body and all this.
Yeah,
stuff.
I mean they or like at least height wise and stuff like that, and size wise, so it's not baggy, so it works because they're moving a lot and doing stunts. And so they didn't have enough time to fabricate that or the budget for all these people, and they called upon the 501st, and they were the first outside sourced stormtroopers to be in an official Star Wars thing. That's crazy.
There's that scene where they were like stuck in that was it like a bar or something, and they had all the guns pointed towards it. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about, right? Yeah. And there's just a ton of people there, like a ton of stormtroopers. So I could see how it would have been an issue, logistical issue.
And they said, who else can we get that knows how a stormtrooper stands? Who can just talk? Who's ready with their microphones already in their uniforms?
Cool. Yeah, and who respects and loves the brand. Like, that's the thing with Favreau. Like, he's freaking amazing in that aspect of he does such good fan service. He gives people what they want from Iron Man. I mean, there's some funny stories of that, too, that I've heard.
Dude, I love John Favreau. Again,
tell the people at home who that is.
John Favreau. So if you don't
I know you know who that is.
if you don't know who John Favreau is, he made the first Iron Man. He director, produced
Swingers. He was in as well.
Swingers was
Swingers is dope.
Swingers is like our generation's like
He's a very famous actor and director and writer. He's done everything from The Lion King, The Jungle Book, Iron Man.
So if you don't know right now, he directed and produced Elf. You can hear about that all on Netflix right now. But yeah, dude, he's one of my favorites. Yeah. One of my favorites of all time. Swingers. Your money, baby. Your money. You know.
You're a big bear, man. Big teeth and big claws. You gotta play with the bunny.
He wrote that. He went to NYU, wrote that, and he's like, nobody was gonna fund me for it, and he went out and did it himself. So
that's funny.
Love it, man. Yeah. That's what we did with Mantra.
He's in the movie Rudy, so that's how he met Vince Vaughn, and he was like, "Hey, you want to be in a movie?" And he was like,
"Oh, that's nuts."
Yeah. So they became really good.
Hey, so Mantra, what's up with that? So what's going on?
Oh, Mantra. Are we done with Star Wars?
Yeah. Let's move on.
Okay.
We can bring it up again.
I mean, I would talk about Star Wars all freaking day. But sorry, guys at home. I know you probably are like, we know that it's great. It's a great show, The Mandalorian.
It is a great show, though.
Yeah, it's awesome. I can't wait to see the rest of it. But with Mantra, that was a feature film that me and Dan Franklin and Stephanie we wrote and produced it and starred in it and directed it.
Yeah, but you make it sound so easy. Like, you guys had to, like, raise some money and
we
stuff.
did. So we really didn't know how we were going to get funding for that particular piece because we didn't have any big A-list names in it. We've had some people. We had people in it that were good, really, really, really good actors. But we didn't know how we were going to secure, like, you know, a good amount of funding for it. But then we realized that we could probably just do it on a minimal budget and do it ourselves. So we kickstarted and we raised $50,000 to do it.
Many Christmas.
Which sounds like a lot of money, but it's freaking nothing. And there's a million stories there in how that thing got made and how it ended up being we were able to pull it off.
How much does something like that usually, like, just like, let's say that there's no hookups, there's no, like, people that are doing favors for you. Like, let's just say you're just outright paying everybody. Like, how much does something like a production like that cost?
Oh, way more than $50,000. I'll tell you that. Yeah. You know, low micro budget for SAG, I think, is like $250,000.
Oh, geez.
That's micro budget. They really haven't updated their stuff to accommodate people like us.
So being independent.
Yeah.
Did you have to pay in the SAG? Did you have to pay your?
No, we really tried. We tried to go through the union, and they. I don't want to say they didn't work with us. It really depends on the rep that you get and whether or not they're willing to, like, play ball with you and negotiate on some things. And but at the end of the day, we weren't able to find it in our budget to do it SAG. It would have cost us like $20,000 more to do it that way, with everything that they were doing. And again, like, the thing is, we're always learning. Like, I didn't know everything about producing a movie by any stretch of the imagination. Still don't. I learned a ridiculous amount of stuff through that, and working with a lot of people who are doing SAG features, low budget SAG stuff now. That I don't know how they're. They just have loopholes. They have systems that they do and ways that they work. And I wish I had known those things then, because there are a lot of SAG actors that I didn't use, including Steph, because she's union. She's union. That I couldn't use at the time.
Got it.
And that was awful. And we just were really worried that when all was said and done and we went to try to sell it and they would ask for contracts, and we'd be like, oh, well, they're in it. And we didn't want that to get them in trouble with the union. We didn't want to get in trouble with the union. Now it's the Wild West. Now SAG is like, I don't know, man. Good luck to them, because it's not looking good for them at the moment. Everyone's kind of revolting. But the other thing is, like, you don't speak out against the SAG. You know, it's kind of like talking against the mafia. But, you know, whatever. At this point in time, whatever. It's all kind of gone to the wind.
It is a union, and I have union ties. All unions are a little bit mafia.
Gary loves the unions.
I do love the unions. I'm a union guy, man. I was a Teamster for years, so, you know, come on.
It's different, though. I mean, I'm telling you, like, SAG operates differently than other unions do. But anyway, all to say...
So, true story, 3 of the biggest unions there are, right? Well, 2 of the biggest unions. The third one is no longer, because this last year used to be the mail carriers. Not so much anymore. But SAG...
Really? I've never even heard that.
SAG-AFTRA, and the Teamsters. 2 biggest ones.
No, you forgot about the in Long Beach. What are the longshoremen?
They're Teamsters.
Oh, they are Teamsters?
Most of them are Teamsters.
Yeah.
Teamsters went like this. They said, and the Steelworkers Union, I guess. The Steelworkers Union. But they all combine their...
See, the thing is that they have some muscle, too. You know what I mean? It's not like just like, oh, we're going to vote this way or vote that way.
Dude, true story. In
they
the 80s,
get out there, dude, with bats and
in the, I'd say, late 80s, early 90s, I worked for Pepsi and I was a Teamster. And literally, they were like, "Hey, there's gonna be a strike over here. If you cross that picket line, we're just gonna kick your ass."
Shit.
Back
in
in the
day, man.
Yeah, there was no like, "Hey, you're not gonna be working for us anymore." No. Oh, we knew guys that got just their butts handed to them because they crossed the line. And it was like,
yeah, man, it's crazy. There's a lot of intimidation, but a lot of that intimidation on the performing union side comes a lot from like, well, you're gonna be blacklisted.
Yeah, that's the hard part.
Well, we just won't hire you.
Yeah.
Well, we'll tell people not to do this or that or the other. And people like commercials now don't do union work. Like the biggest commercials in the world now that I see, I had a Super Bowl campaign for Tecate. And
those were cool too.
It was funny. Great. And they were everywhere, man.
Yeah, they were.
I had people in every part of the world messaging me that were like, whoa, seeing your commercial all the time and whatever. That was Super Bowl spot. And it was non-union buyout.
I don't know if you know this, but your commercial always comes out, and it still does. It comes out in the soccer, because my dad watches soccer.
Oh yeah.
So, that's why he loves you so much.
Well, then we have my buddies Itza and Guillermo that are in a couple more spots that they do down there, and they're a local hire in Mexico. I was the only American that they flew out there at the time, and it was non-union again. Which is crazy. Like, if it's a Super Bowl campaign commercial, that is a union, big budget, huge commercial.
Yeah.
But it's like they're not doing it. I got something the other day that was for like Pepsi, and it was like $500
for Pepsi.
For Pepsi, I think it was. Don't quote me on that, but I think it was something. It was something like it was a big. And like Ancestry.com, same thing, like $500 national commercial or $800 national commercial buyout. And you're just like, what? And these, like, the SAG would not have let that slide. But they don't have the same authority anymore because they haven't kept up with the times. They haven't updated their contracts. They haven't redone their systems to work and accommodate the current environment. And I don't just mean COVID, pre-COVID.
Right. With all the new YouTube stuff, all the new...
Well, because before it was impossible. How were you going to make a thing? You had to rent a camera. You know, it cost you money. You had to go to a rental house, which also would have had ties with people. Like, there was a system in place, but now every technology has advanced at such a compoundingly quick rate that anybody can film a movie. You know, I can rent a camera operator with a Red, which is a good high quality camera, for like $250 a day. And I can rent them with a super high quality camera. You know, it doesn't take hundreds of millions of dollars to make a movie anymore. You don't need to involve these huge production companies that have ties with unions now. Now, other things like tours, like stage tours and stuff like that, like SpongeBob was a big musical that was going on tour, and they were going non-union. And Equity sent out all the emails saying, "Don't work for this. They're non-union. Do not do it. If you do and we find out, you will be punished."
Wow.
Jeez.
You know? But it's like, it makes sense. I get it.
But that's a real threat. Like blacklisting, like just that word blacklisting.
Excommunication.
Dude, that's a real threat for people's careers. Not just in what you do, but in every type of business.
Yeah. But again, they're losing their power. If they start making really bad moves like that, their people are just going to move on because they don't need them.
And to be quite honest, eventually, like if people are throwing that blacklisting thing around so much, eventually there's enough people that get tired of that they revolt against.
Yeah,
that.
but they don't do it as much. Like they rarely do it.
So it's a threat.
It's a threat. But I've never met anybody, and I know a lot of very high profile SAG actors that do non-union work on the side, behind the back. And nothing has ever happened to them. And they do plenty of things that are outside the U.S. because they called it a World One policy. But like anybody that wants to police you from not being able to do a Filipino movie, like I'm kind of like, screw you, get out of my jurisdiction. You know, this is my life, and you're not going to control the way I want to do worldwide. But that's when the union is a little different than other unions. You know what I mean?
So yeah, unions in Just are built so that you have labor laws, things,
right.
Hours put in, child acting or even just child working.
Right.
Abel's dad probably worked him to death.
He paid me well, though.
But those were what unions started and actually having like days off, sick leave, this, that.
Yeah, right.
So I think they've lost a lot of that. Like you said, power's gotten to them, and it's like totally.
Well, does the good outweigh the bad?
Yeah,
exactly. That's the thing. Is because with SAG, you have to work certain amounts of weeks to get any of those benefits. And
right.
Most people don't make that. Like the percentage of people that get that are like series regulars on TV shows and above, or constantly reoccurring. But like if you do a few shows a year, which is impressive in and of itself, if you're able to book like a few TV shows a year, like at least guest stars and stuff like that, and then a couple commercials. Even then, you might not get healthcare. You might not get health benefits. And they might not be at the, I mean, they're good once you can get them. They're really good. But it's like, even if you're not getting to those tiers, you still have to abide by all the same rules. Sure. And so then you're getting all the bad and none of the benefits.
Hey, so do you think that with all this like COVID stuff, like is Hollywood still Hollywood? Like, do you need Hollywood?
A lot of people are going to that, but also because the
before,
press
right?
is really bad on them right now.
Because before it was like, if I want to get into this type of business, right, I have to live around or near Hollywood.
Sure. I've never found that to be the case. The main aspect, I think, in school of thought of being around Hollywood and living around there is the networking aspect, right? You want to be able to go to parties. You want to be able to meet people at the coffee shops and blah, blah, blah. And there is some truth to meeting people. There's a couple of celebrities that are like, I refuse to ever go to a party. Like, I will find my own way. Like, Jeff Daniels is a big proponent of that. He's like, I never wanted, I wasn't buying what Hollywood was selling, la, 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 which is great. I mean, that's awesome that he was able to make it. I've gotten big jobs going and talking to people, not at parties, but at shows. Like when Steph is performing and like at the Rockwell, which is a great venue with great productions and great shows. And I would go over there and I would watch her and I would meet people and I would get jobs off of that, just talking to them. And they would go and look on my Instagram and see my stunts and my acrobatics. I mean, I got a great job because I just happened to be there when one of our friends, Kevin Duda, was there, and he was producing a cruise ship show, and I got a job choreographing a cruise ship show from doing that. So there is an aspect of that in there, but I live down here because I like it, and I just go up to LA for whatever events I want to go to and stuff like that.
So, but how does it work now, though? I mean, now
everyone's everywhere, yeah.
Right, COVID era, maybe podcasts. Maybe that helps a lot too.
Well, there's definitely podcasts, and what he's doing his own entertainment show.
Yeah, because I'm sure that you guys are inviting people.
Oh yeah,
and
that was one of the big things.
Yeah, so those bridges are always being built, right?
Yes. Yeah, and the big thing we wanted to do when we started this was stay visible. We have to stay visible. We have to make people remember that we're here and we're doing stuff, and that's why, like you guys are doing, it's just freaking great. You're bringing people on from different aspects. Like, again, we didn't just bring musical theater people on. We brought on our friend Michael Thomas Grant, who's in Zoe's Extraordinary Playlist, and Frankie Grande, who was in Rock of Ages with Stephanie, and Ariana Grande's brother, and like all these. I mean, we brought a lot of people on, but then I also brought stunt guys on. I brought my buddy Brennan, my buddy Josh, and it's good to stay visible.
You know what I really like about this? Like, and this is like a secondary effect, because at first it was like we said, like when we started this, it was to survive and to make sure that people knew that we were still here and we're trying to connect with everybody that we already knew. But it's turned into something else, and it's turned into this place where we're not only learning about different people's perspectives, but we're building closer ties to them. Like there's some great friendships that are happening that the podcast itself, like I'm not even including the studio, the podcast itself made our relationship stronger because of it.
I mean, I totally agree. I'm a podcast fanatic. That's why we kind of started this. And what I've noticed now, if you go on all the podcasters, you can go into the empowerment world, you can go into podcasting, you can go to entertainment, but now they're all starting to do this. They're starting to cross over because they know everybody's audience is like, hey, maybe I'm watching this Gary Garvey show over here, but I like Alex. Oh, wow. Now all of a sudden they've tied together.
Right. Yeah. And that Yeah, and it's become something a little bit different, which is great and which is cool. But I think the important thing is just is the consistency and staying relevant. Like right now we're really focused on building the Vaudacity network, which is all of our shows put together, right? And so we did a Wicked musical. We did a digital Wicked musical, and I did a number called Dancing Through Life.
I thought you were doing like a Boston accent or something. It was Wicked. I just put,
Wicked, and we did a Wicked musical.
I just put that together right now. Wicked. Oh, Wicked. Like,
Wicked, the musical. Wicked. Yeah. And we did a number called. And one of the guys we had on though was played one of the characters at the Pantages.
Cool. Is this out there now?
Yeah, it's out there now.
Like, so I would be able to go watch it?
You would be able to go watch it. It's Paulie's online variety. No, it's Vaudacity Network. It used to be Paulie's online variety show. It's Vaudacity Network.
Okay, I'm gonna look that up because I actually I went to the Pantages to watch it. It's a really good show.
Yeah, he played Bach in it, and he was the Bach in that number, and so it's great. I mean, it's turned into something so creative and so collaborative and so fun. And I love it. I love that. And I love the aspect of it.
Well, and I think this is how media is changing and entertainment's changing and all that, because I think we're going to start seeing, unfortunately, I'm a movie buff too. I love going to the movies, but Warner Brothers just announced that they're going to do everything HBO Max.
Really?
Dude. Yeah.
Well, they're doing a theater release simultaneously as well. Yeah.
Yeah, but they fought crossing over to that Netflix, to that Apple TV. Now Warner Brothers is like, okay, we're going HBO Max, and we're going to release Wonder Woman on Christmas Day with.
So if you're someone that loves movies as much as I do, or like you do,
breaks your heart.
Like you probably have to start looking for some companies that are going to be building like home theaters, like actual like legit.
So I am not lying.
Like
to
invest
you.
in stock.
One of the things that I told Shane, and I always tell you I'm going to win the lotto.
Yeah.
I said if I ever get some money, we're going to buy one of these movie theaters, and we're going to either do like some live type shows, or we're going to have like movies that I just want people to go see.
You can do that now.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you can rent them. They're not expensive.
It's like $250 or something like that.
Maybe even less, depending on what they're doing. If you're doing a private screen, because movie theaters, I don't know how many people know this. Movie theaters don't really make money on the movies.
No.
They make money on concessions.
It's all concessions.
So they don't care what movie is being shown as long as you have an audience that's promised to come in and buy stuff.
So how does it work? Okay, so let's say that the theater is showing whatever it is, okay? How much money, like how much do they have to pay to be able to have the license to play that movie there?
They make deals with the studios
certain ones,
and movie and all that stuff. And it depends.
So is the studio getting a cut from from everything they make at that place, or just
ticket sales?
Box office. That's when box office numbers become real big, and then it goes to your executive producers.
I don't see it going back to that anymore.
So here's the thing. Here's why that kind of breaks my heart, and people are caving. And the reason is they have good reason to, because they've already forked out. I mean, how much does a movie cost like Wonder Woman to make? 200 million?
Easily.
180 million?
Easily. Yeah, easily.
And that's what's on the line right now. $180 to $200 million of investment that is not coming back right now.
Yep.
And they have to find a way. So they sell it to HBO for X amount of money. Or HBO will put it on there and you have to rent it. And now they're just a hub for ticket sales. And the movie's way more expensive now because you can watch it. Once a movie is out on a digital medium,
it's like $30.
You kind of wash your hands of it and consider it gone, because while you will get rental sales and rental revenue and stuff like that, now piracy is rampant, because you can now record that movie in 4K and put it on the dark web, and everyone can watch it. No one has to pay a dime. Most people will still rent it, but it's not going to be the same as you do with ticket sales. Movie theaters are integral to the entertainment industry. They cannot go away. They are so incredibly important.
I just don't see, Alex, how they're going to survive this.
The vaccine is really just going to have to come out and just kick ass and take names, man. I mean, really. I mean, that's going with Disney, too. Disneyland is closed here. They're open in Florida. Disney World's open in Florida.
The vaccine's going to have to come to krav and learn some krav.
Well, they're open in Florida, France, and China, Disneyland, or Disney.
Yeah, and let me just tell you, they laid off a lot of people, man.
I got a lot of friends, and I know you have a ton of friends.
Oh, Disney?
Yeah.
Didn't they just announce that it was like another 23,000 that they were going to lay off?
Yeah, and you know what's messed up about it is that Bob Iger left the task force, right? Governor Newsom announced that.
I think Iger saw it coming, man.
No, Iger was on the task force to try to convince them to open up.
So let the people at home know who that is.
So Bob Iger's the CEO, a former CEO. He's not the CEO anymore of Disney Parks, but he still obviously is an integral role in the wheel. So what happened is he was on Newsom's task force. I don't know what happened behind closed doors. No
task force for what?
The COVID task force.
Got it.
They were trying to keep businesses open.
And they were in no hurry to open the theme parks. And Bob Iger left the task force. And 2 hours after they announced later that California had moved in, well, they said that we're not in a hurry to open the theme parks. We're going to be stubborn about it with the science. And everyone got screwed. And 2 hours after they announced that California was moving from tier 2 to tier 3, Disney laid off 30,000 employees.
So
2 hours after they announced that.
I have a couple really good friends. Like he's on the entertainment side. He knows a lot. Well, I don't know. You probably know more than just entertainment people there. But I have some friends that have been there since literally out of high school. Have worked at Disneyland, but got their college degree, so
they just grown through there.
Production and whatever, just management, whatever it may be. Oh man, they've been there for like 20 plus years easily.
Yeah,
and just got laid off, dude. Oh man,
I know one very closely.
Oh yeah.
I know a lot. I know a lot of people very closely, but it's
you know how fun it is to go to like Disneyland and see Dan Franklin up in the stage performing and
yes.
like seeing the pirates out in the front and seeing Dan and going, hey, I know that guy, and he's in character and he can't break character.
Yeah, and their unions are in play there too.
Yeah.
So unions were negotiating the release tactics and everything like that, the contingencies of like a lot of those people that got laid off. I don't know if I'm allowed to say all this, but fuck it. Excuse my language. A lot of those people that got laid off, they have 2 years to get hired back in until if they get hired back in within 2 years, they get their
right?
Yeah. Like I know people that have again had 20 years there plus, and they got laid off, and they have to hire back in within a couple
And so here's
years.
the thing, guys, because I know people that are on the other side of things where like when it comes to benefits and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So 30,000 people laid off. They just announced like another 23 will be laid off.
Yes.
All those benefits. So like Kaiser, for example, right? Like
That's
a workforce that's an income that
it's
insurance.
a trickle.
It affects, and then it affects that business.
Yeah.
And so all these different business models are just kind of like
right, and that's
shaking right now.
That's what I think. What everyone's trying to dictate or determine, is like at what point does it become not worth it? How much is the life worth?
Right.
How much is locking everyone down? Where a lot of people will say there's no cost, there's no limit. Well, Japan will disagree with you because suicide rates for females are up 80%. It's the leading cause. It's killing more people than COVID is in Japan. Is suicide. Everyone is offing themselves, and in a certain group of people in America at a certain age range, people are killing themselves higher than COVID, much higher than COVID is killing them. And it's doing horrible things to people's psychology, and we don't want to get to a place where we're not going to be able to recover from, because as objectively horrible as this is, life-wise, like we can recover from certain things. Like if we lose X amount of people and our death toll increases X amount, we can still recover from that. But if our economy takes a certain amount of hit, it will take a lot more to recover from, and a lot more people will lose their livelihood, and a lot more people will be homeless, and a lot more people will lose their lives altogether.
Yep. I mean, this thing is it's that trickle down effect. It's affecting so many things, some faster than others.
Yeah.
But at some point,
we just need that vaccine. Yeah. We just need it.
Would you be first in line for that?
No, I'm not a first responder. First responders are going to be the first to get it.
If you were able to,
I would need to see the science. I would need to see the data. I would need to see the
how's that going to work?
The details.
How are you going to get people to go get the vaccine?
They need to be publishing the studies.
Shit, I put worse things in my body, dude. I probably just fuck it.
Yeah.
So really, Gary, you would be okay with that?
I'd probably be okay with it.
Yeah. I mean, I probably I don't know. I don't know. I want to see the data. I wouldn't do it. I know I wouldn't do it until I've seen the study published, until I've seen the double blinds.
So I'm one of those guys who, again, I look at it a little different just because I've been through radiation, I've been through different things, and been like, hey man, fuck it. I'll do it because, hey, I'd love to be the part of that science to be like, okay, if something went drastically wrong or whatever, I'm sitting there like this with you guys, drooling on the next podcast. Hey, I'm cool with that.
We'd still have you on the podcast.
That's what I'm saying. Just have me like this.
You would never say anything. Or I'd have a stick and just poke him.
And you know what? He finally censored me.
We'd weekend at Bernie's
He finally fucking censored me.
We'd sit you in and put some sunglasses, turn you a little bit away from the camera, and just like play old tape recordings of you.
Hey, he'd have like a stick and just move my chair every once in a while.
I'd have buttons. So like it would like be like his old responses.
Yeah.
And I would answer for him.
Yeah. You would just have like a laugh button that you would press, and you would turn his chair as you hit the laugh button, so you'd be like,
I'd actually put some cursing in just so they think it's real.
Yeah. You just bleep it. Yeah.
That's so awesome.
Yeah, but I think that way. But it is what it is. I agree with you guys both. And the fun part about COVID, if anything, is the pivot. You're watching things.
It's part of the hustle.
You're watching things that are just changing.
Everything's changing right now.
Yeah,
everything's changing.
And it's for the most part, whether it be all the way up from government, all the way down to us here on a podcast. Everything's just flipped.
Yeah.
Totally just flipped.
Yeah.
And it's kind of fun to watch. I'm the guy who watched the car wreck.
Like I need theaters to come back.
I do need that.
And not only movie theaters, but like I like going to the
stage
theater.
plays. Yeah. And stuff. Did you see Tenet?
No, I didn't. Did I tell you?
I haven't seen it either, and I wanted to because I want to see that movie.
Hey, did I tell you that I cried on Lion King at the Contagious?
No.
I don't know why I cried, man.
No, I would have sobbed like a baby. I know, because I've never seen it. And when I went to New York, I know, and Lion King's my favorite Disney movie of all time. It's my freaking
They did such a good
favorite.
job with it.
I remember seeing it as a kid in the movie theater, and I was awestruck. I remember where I was sitting. I remember how I felt when the sun rose and we hit the Natawenya. I remember it, and I love that. I love it so much. Yeah. So I knew the second that show started, I would have burst into tears. And I went to New York, and I went to all these different people. I tried to get tickets for it because I think Steph was doing a show or something, and I couldn't get tickets for it.
You didn't go?
I didn't see it.
You're kidding.
And I think I found tickets for it, but they were like $200-something.
So I saw it at the Orange County Performing Arts. We had season tickets to the Orange County Performing Arts, and that's fun. Yeah, we need live performances.
Yeah,
we do.
Man.
Music,
live music.
Theaters, we definitely need it. It's just in our soul that we do. That's the type of stuff.
Yeah.
One of the best things I got to see in the theater, it was A Night with Mel Brooks. I was only in the main stage with about 200 to 300 people talking to Mel Brooks and having a conversation.
That's kind of cool.
And then watching Blazing Saddles, dude. Jeez. Oh, man. And then talking to him afterwards about Blazing Saddles. Oh, that was the best, dude. Best night I had. And
you know which one I really enjoyed, too? And I wasn't too happy about it. I was like, I don't want to go watch that. I didn't tell Gloria that, but
what?
I was like, oh, man, I don't want to go. But then I got there and I sat there and then I watched it. And I was just like, wow.
What?
Ghost.
Oh, Lord.
Dude, it was so good.
Hey, you know what?
Ghost was good, though.
You know what I...
No, I know, but I wasn't... I was like, how that... Like,
yeah,
like
no. I'd be the same way right now.
On stage, how are they going to do that? Like, come on, man. And, man, they just... Dude, these guys are brilliant. You guys are all brilliant. Like, you guys
it's not me, man. I haven't done stage since high school.
My mom used to make me watch West Side Story, dude. Like, friggin' every year it came out, right? Yeah. Right? The Sharks and the, I forget the other group, but I was like, if I gotta watch West Side Story another time, But then I go see it live. Huh. Like, I see it in theater, and with people who are just fantastic, dude. I lost myself in that show. It was pretty awesome.
That's cool.
What do you think about them taking it down?
Oh, man, yeah. I don't know. That's so bad, dude. I think anything that to do with the arts, he knows how I feel about the arts. Anything to do with any kind of arts, nobody should touch anything.
I agree. I agree 100% because
just leave it alone.
Yeah, I think comedy and art should be left alone because you're screwing with the fabric of creativity.
Yeah. Yeah.
And art is a sign of the times, always has been, always will be. That is the thing. Like comedy and art is just it's sacred ground for community. So I mean, there's certain things obviously that need to be there are ground rules, and I think everybody kind of knows them. But to go into a classic piece like West Side Story and to say, no, we don't like it. We don't like the way it makes us think about ourselves or portrays this or portrays that. It's that's like, insane. Yo, that's the slipperiest slope you've ever stepped on. That's
the whole new thing too with like certain books and stuff. They're going back to that again, where books in certain curriculums where Muslim people don't want to like hear about Catcher in the Rye or this or that. And I can agree with some of it, but some of it's age appropriate. No. Right? You need to go, hey, we need to see some of this classic work, some of this stuff that is it does step towards that line, but you got to see it. You got to do it.
Okay, let's take something like mental health. Like it's an extremely important topic to talk about and to normalize. And I think everyone should be going to therapy at least a few times a month, maybe. You know what I mean?
I agree.
Like,
we need to.
On that note, that's what we're going to start on. We're going to take a quick break.
Great.
And that's where we're going to start. Okay, cool.
Good. I'm glad you said that. I think we're all like shaking.
I got to piss so bad. But I'm a creep.
Check.
I'm a weirdo.
What up?
You ready?
What's up?
We back. We are back. Thank you, Gary. Thanks for helping me train the weasel.
He's got a new bromance, dude.
What?
That's Omar's job now.
What are you talking about?
That's Omar's job.
Listen, you got a bromance with Omar?
Listen, you'll never be replaced. That'll always be your job.
So he posted a picture of him and Omar at a hotel.
Right.
Saying, we had a mandate.
Yeah, Paseo. Dude, that place is legit.
It is pretty legit.
Wait, did you went with Omar on a mandate to a hotel?
Yeah, I did. Let me explain.
No. Don't explain. It's better with the mystery.
That's what I'm saying. Let's just keep it right there.
I will add this, though. I had a blast. and when I left that place, I was exhausted.
Oh, damn.
And he had Omar's measurements. He had his quad measurements.
I was exhausted.
Dang.
So Omar has been pushing me to not stay stagnant. And, dude, he makes me work out. Like Monday and Friday, those are like the 2 days that we get together.
Great.
And he took me to a lap pool. And he had this whole swim workout. Dude, I was...
So you were naked with Omar in a pool.
Killed me, man. So no, it was Euro style.
Got it.
Yeah.
I'd pay to
not quite a Speedo, not quite a
G-string.
Yeah, it's just right in the middle.
Right.
Yeah.
They're in the dock.
That's where the G-string goes, right in the middle.
Nice sunny day, sun bouncing off skin, just glistening. Beautiful, man. It's great.
Look at Miss Hawaiian
I
Tropic.
don't know why Gary's so jealous about this.
He's so mad.
I just think it's funny.
He's brewing over there.
Jeez. Oh.
He's trying to push my buttons.
Why are you so jealous?
So one of the cool
things, red flags everywhere. Dude, if this was a football field, there'd be a bunch of flags.
So I've been to therapy too. You talked about therapy. So I've been to therapy. Yeah. One of the cool things that I finally kind of mastered.
Did you talk about your red flags?
I always talk about my red flags. Is I kind of mastered not to continue an argument. Right? Not to continue an argument.
Look at he's trying to ignore me right now.
Because
instigating asshole.
He's an asshole, dude. He's a total asshole.
Look, he's all worked up now.
Hey, because he knows what I'm gonna say. He knows what I'm gonna say. So the other day we're arguing, right? We're arguing.
Yeah.
I went like this. I sent a text. I said, okay, whatever you say. Then I sent a text of the guy going like this. And then I just went cold. I just said, I'm not going to argue anymore. 10 texts later from Abel, dude, what's up? Are you mad? What's going on? Next day, right? I let it blow over.
Do you really think First off, this doesn't even sound like him. He let it blow over. He was the calm one. Like,
I've never heard G say, "I'll let it blow over," but I believe it. I believe it. He's going to therapy.
Oh, okay.
He's going to therapy.
That's right.
Things change.
Yeah, therapy's good.
Things change.
Good. Therapy's good for you.
You're trying to undo his therapist's work over here.
That's what I'm saying.
Satan.
That's what I'm saying. He thinks he's a therapist because his wife's a therapist, so he thinks he can go there. So it's like,
that's funny. Hey, as soon as he starts acting up, I always like put a podcast in our schedule because I know it's gonna help him.
He likes to fire me up, man. He likes to get me fired up. There's a new Gary, new year. Just coming.
Well, that's good, G, that you're going to therapy, though.
Yeah,
that's freaking great.
I needed it.
Yeah. All of us, especially, we're all such manly men over here, not to blah, blah. But, like, everyone over here loves to fight. They love to throw down. They love to train. They love to work out. They love to work hard. And there's this, like, stigma that's starting to be shattered more and more of, like, dude, you got to work out your brain, too. You got to be mentally healthy. Like, we have no problem going to a physical therapist. We have no problem going to a chiropractor, a massage therapist. There's no reason why you shouldn't go get your mental health checked up.
Pool
with another guy.
That's awesome.
Nothing wrong with that either.
Hey, it's cool. It's a sign of the time.
There's nothing wrong with going and getting your mental. But my point of bringing that up, I think, was this cancel culture nonsense of like, if mental health became the new, for whatever reason, of like, we don't want people to be making fun of it, and they went back to Of Mice and Men, and they took that out because it has Lenny in it.
Right. And they have in certain schools.
That blows my mind. That is a phenomenal novel. There are so many beautiful messages written into things that had times of social unacceptability now.
To Kill a Mockingbird.
To Kill a Mockingbird.
Like 2 weeks ago, like they said that they were removed. I'm like, what?
That's
but it just shows how things haven't gone that much different from those times, you know?
Well, what are they going to put in? You're not allowed to talk about religion. You're not allowed to talk about race in any way. You're not allowed to talk about any of these things. I mean, that it just gets progressively a little crazier, and it's like, what are you going to be left with? What do you want there? What curriculum would everyone kind of agree as being acceptable? I'm curious.
The fun part of having a 19-year-old is to be reminded how racist I am sometimes. It's like,
well, you also got to remember too, like how we grew up. Like all that was on us. Like people were racist to us, and we got used to it.
Yeah,
and now we make jokes of it.
I used to walk around going, "Hey, what's up, you beaner? What's up?"
Like literally, like literally,
you can't do that stuff now.
No, man.
Like literally, us joking about it is a way to cope.
Yeah.
And so we joke about it, and now that we're older, you can't do that. Like. Right. Especially in a corporate setting, oh, dude, forget it. You lose your job like that.
Yeah.
Now, it doesn't make it okay. There's some stuff that maybe we say that probably shouldn't be said out in the open between you and I, and we laugh about it, whatever. But that's how we were coping as we were going through it when we were younger, when we were kids, being called, all kinds of names. I'm not even going to repeat them, but that's how you cope. You make it fun.
There.
Oh, yeah. No. I mean, I get it. I mean, listen, my last name is Suarez. I'm first generation American. I got judged on a piece of paper before I was ever seen in the classroom.
Oh, same here.
I mean, but like, I don't know. I don't know. It's weird because I've never felt that anyone was racist.
Dude,
I didn't understand racism until like I was in high school because my father is Colombian and is as dark as this table. Like he's dark. And I was my mom is from Greece and my father's from Colombia. They're both fresh off the boat. I didn't know. It was a craziness.
I found out that I was so when I was graduating high school, I had to do this interview with one of the counselors, and I didn't understand what that was for because I had honors classes and advanced placement classes and stuff, and they had to sign me off because apparently since I went into high school as a freshman all the way to till I was a senior, I was in what's that program?
Dun 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 program.
Yeah, it's like we're like.
How do you say dun 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 program?
It's we're like
Did you wear a helmet?
Where English isn't your primary language. What is it?
I don't know. I didn't have to do that.
I remember what you're talking about.
ESL.
English
is the second
and I was
language.
Like, what, dude? I have an AP class in English, and I've had AP classes like all throughout, with the exception of My freshman year was an honors class. I'm like, why? What?
Yeah.
Like, this is insane.
Right.
But like you said, they saw my name and someone filled that form out, and that's what I was labeled
Exactly.
as. You know, but
exactly, and in that way, like you don't know that somebody. I'm not diminishing anybody's resume. You don't know somebody is black by reading their name.
Yeah, I'm black.
You know, unless it's like something very whatever.
Dude,
you know, it's
he's
a very
so
specific
black.
kind of name.
He went to Wakanda.
We're gonna have to edit this part out of the podcast. Apologize at home, folks.
Uganda.
He went to Wakanda.
Wakanda.
He was like,
stupid.
You see what I mean? This is what I deal with.
This is what you deal with. I used to go to Tijuana a lot when I was younger.
I haven't been there in ages, man.
Yeah, man. I used to go there a lot when I was
it's too
younger.
dangerous.
It's crazy, man. I mean, listen. I remember going like the border crossings and all of that stuff.
That used to be fun.
It used to be a great time because they'd have all the vendors right there.
Yeah.
They'd have all the vendors.
Little puppets.
Yeah,
Little puppets.
yeah. And you get puppets. You get like snacks. You get chicharrones and chiclets and
So
churros.
17 years old, I would always go there like Friday nights, dude, and hang out.
You can't do that anymore, dude. You won't come back. Straight up, you won't come back.
Nah.
Yeah. True story. First moved to Fountain Valley. I grew up Santa Ana, Garden Grove, Westminster.
This tea's so good.
And
Thank you, Glenn.
Gabby's like, hey, let's rent an apartment together, you know? Okay. She's like, man, we cannot get an apartment. We cannot. We have the money. We have this. We cannot get an apartment. I said, I'm not going to go in with you this time. I bet you we get this one. She's like, you're full of it. No. Yeah. She goes in. She comes out. We got the apartment.
I'd like to point out to everybody, I guarantee you that had nothing to do with race. That was just Gary. He probably pissed somebody off and was like, yeah, we're all fucking man. We're going to raise. We're having a good time.
Well, Gary doesn't realize that.
No.
It had nothing to do with race.
Yeah. Nothing to do with race.
Okay.
Hey, I do. We love you, Gary. Hey, listen, I do.
Now you got him being an asshole.
No, you see, he stopped the argument. See, his therapy's working.
Yeah, his therapy's working.
And Abel's an instigator.
Hey, I did want to tell you something, though. And I should have mentioned it since we started this. How wonderful you look in that hat. What type of hat is that? What would you call that?
Fedora? No, not a fedora.
It's not a fedora.
It's a.
It's a nice hat, is what it is. I like it.
Oh, thank
I
you.
like it. The therapy thing is going far.
You're being an asshole right now. Hey.
I can't even give you compliments anymore.
Check it out, man. I'm losing my hair.
Are you really?
Heck yeah, dude. I've been losing it for a while since I had treatment. And every year it gets like a little bit thinner.
Right.
So it's like, I'm going to start wearing hats. Screw it, dude. I'm old enough. I'm
You look
almost
good in
50,
hats,
man.
man.
You're good.
Start
You
wearing
look
hats,
good.
dude.
Yeah.
So,
You look great. At least we tell you to your face and not over the internet.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You look very trendy. Like your shades, your glasses, and your hat. And
I am
stuff.
trendy. Dude.
That's good.
That's my name. Trendy Gary.
Trendy Gary. Jeez. No, that's the thing too. It's like it's all fun and games around friends and
So
stuff like
I got to
that.
ask you, Alex.
Yeah, man.
How did you meet Stephanie, man?
Oh, I met Steph on the set of a movie. I was a second unit director.
One of those ones on the dark web?
Yeah, exactly. You know,
I'm sorry.
page 37 of.
I apologize for
we
him.
just opened up a can of worms.
Nah,
now
nah.
I'm alive. I'm like,
I met Steph on a movie called The Haunted Man, and the first day I met her, I had been in a motorcycle accident the day before. You guys remember that?
Yeah.
And so I was all.
Hold on. I love how you just try to skip over that. How many times did I tell you before that
What?
not to ride your motorcycle? How many times?
I don't know. A few.
I get the whole motorcycle thing. I would love a motorcycle.
Freedom!
I would totally love it.
I get it too. But
yeah, not in California, dude. You can't do it.
I'm gonna be totally honest with you guys. I hate traffic.
I agree.
It gives me anxiety. Like it gives me. I don't like it. I'll watch Netflix if I'm in my car. I would just put on Netflix and watch it. I don't even watch the road.
especially during the time you were doing a whole bunch of stuff.
And I was in LA like 5 days a week.
Yeah, I remember
man.
that. You were teaching at the studio, driving to LA.
Yeah, all the time. And
that.
so I couldn't stand traffic. And I would go up to LA on the bike. I would just split all the way up. And that was fine. And I never,
That's so nuts.
I never once almost died. I mean, there were a couple of close calls or whatever. But what killed me, what almost took me out, was coming to friggin' work. I was on the freeway for like 30 seconds. And I'm going. And some guy just, this double yellow lines is in the carpool lane. And this guy just decides he wants to exit and does not look at whoever is next to him and just, bam, takes me out. And again, thank God for my stunt training and for my krav maga training, because all of those forward rolls, I didn't break a bone. My head didn't even hit the ground. Like a little bit of a scrape from when I stopped. But like I
pictured the Spider-Man drop when
you had
lands.
I kipped up, I'll tell you that. But I had one. Okay, so I always saw all these motorcycle accident videos, and I always see like their boot fly off, and I'm always like, how the hell does their boot fly off? That thing is like wedged on and like tied on and clipped on. Like, how does their boot fly off? And I'm tumbling down the freeway, and I'm like, forward roll, forward roll, forward roll, forward roll, and I'm just thinking about that. All of a sudden, I see my boot come off. And center frame.
That could have been your last,
center frame. I look, and my boot just right in the middle of my goes up to the sky. And I'm like, literally, as I'm tumbling, I'm thinking, holy shit, my boot, it does happen.
Hey, could you imagine, he doesn't make it out of that? Like, that was the last thing he saw.
My boot fly off in disbelief. Like, whoa, yeah, that does happen. It was like the first time I went to BJJ and got tapped out. I'm like, whoa, yeah, people are way better than I am at this. I mean, it was like that thing just flung. And I got up with like one boot, and my tactical pants are all shredded up.
Yeah, you were wearing your black belt pants.
I was wearing my black belt pants.
They're all shredded?
They're all shredded. And I usually always wear my leather jacket and everything like that, right? I left my wallet in my jacket at home.
Oh,
and
geez.
I didn't put it. I didn't realize I didn't have it on.
Thank God, man! You would have ruined your jacket.
No, man, it wasn't my black belt jacket. It was my padded jacket. That would have helped me a lot. However, yeah,
they're expensive.
But yeah, man, it was But luckily, I was wearing a rash guard, and I was wearing my instructor shirt, and I had my backpack on top of that. So I let all of the stuff go onto the backpack, which is like we did the same thing in stunts, where we'll wear a spine protector, a gator back. And that'll be what we use when we fall or when we have to do anything. We'll just focus all of our energy onto the gator back. This wasn't a gator back. It was just a backpack. But it was enough that I wasn't going to get shredded as I was rolling.
I remember that you were in pain.
So I wasn't the first day. I was fine because I was adrenalized.
Yeah.
And my adrenaline from that didn't kick in until the next night.
All the skin stuff.
Like 2 nights later. And AJ came over.
You were like shaking.
AJ came over because I'm like, dude, I need you to come over and help clean my wounds a little bit because I think I got it all, but I want to make sure. And he's like, all right. And he came over with like hydrogen peroxide and just hydrogen peroxide my whole freaking body, which was actually not the smartest thing to do now.
Put you in shock or something?
Put me in shock. That night, I went into full shock. And I didn't have anybody with me. It was just me by myself in my place, and I'm on my couch. And I went into full shock. And I knew where like my pain medication was, and it was in the bathroom. And I stood up on one leg, but I couldn't walk because my leg was like shaking and locked up because I was in so much pain. And I like toe heeled my way for 30 minutes to the bathroom and got like pain medication. Anyway, all this to say, I was in pretty bad shape. The next day, I was like dripping blood still. Like the doctors didn't want to cover my wounds. They wanted to let them air out and stuff. So that's the first day I met Stephanie. It was a rehearsal.
Sweet.
And I was just like walking dead going up there. Dang. And then I booked a commercial and left. And I was still like in bandages. And it was funny because I was high as a kite. Like I got dropped off. And I was on pain medication. Like, it wasn't my fault. And I don't take pain medication. But I was going into this audition. It was for Tecate, actually. And
was that
it was for Tecate. Yeah. And I told my agent, I'm like, do I want to go? Like, I'm really messed up here. And they're like, can you hide your bandages under a shirt? And I'm like, yeah. If I wear a long sleeve shirt, yeah. She's like, all right, go.
Nice.
And I'm like, all right, and I went. And I think I was just
That's pretty
loosey-goosey and like, it was a comedy. And I just had a great time with it. But my palm of my hand was like all carved off. And so they were like, show us your hands. And I'm like, oh, shit. And they're like, because then part of your slate is like, hi, my name is blah, blah, blah. I live blah, blah, blah. And you show your profiles. And then you show your hands. And I went, here's the back of my hands. Front of my hands. And I put them down. And
That's funny.
And then I booked it. And then I left. And then I came back. And then I went right into production of that movie. And I was like a little bit late. And
you were late?
yeah, well, I had somebody, you jackass. And I had somebody.
The camera caught you kicking me.
Assault. It was sexual assault is what that was.
I'm not the only one.
And there you go.
I wish I could do that. I got that thing under the table. I can't reach it.
Your legs don't reach.
Damn it.
Oh man.
So what's up? So what happened?
Oh, that's
you guys locked eyes.
Nah, I courted her on set. That was about it. I mean, I didn't really court her. It was just one of those things where we were shooting all night, all day. It was a low budget feature, and we had a crazy schedule.
So your strategy was just like get her tired, kind of like what is that animal that chases?
Just cheetah. I was gonna chase her like a cheetah
get her so
until
tired.
the antelope got tired.
And it's just like, all right.
And then pounce.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
No, what I did like the Komodo dragon, the monitor lizard, where I just locked eyes on her, and the Komodo dragon will bite its prey and let it go. Yeah. Because eventually the prey just like it succumbs to the poison and just lays there and waits for the dragon to catch up. Yep. And that's what I did. I locked eyes on her and let her wait it out. Yeah. No, I don't know how it happened. It was we had a connection at our first rehearsal because our minds met. Like we were talking about her character the same way, and I hate the cliche of like the director and the actress kind of like fall into it. But I don't always direct. I do love to direct, but I very rarely direct. Most of the time I'm acting or I'm doing stunts. And so, yeah, it was just funny the way it happened, and it just happened. And then
Nice.
3 years later, here we are. But
so, yeah. But then I was like, I have all these questions. I started thinking about them when we were talking earlier. It's like, then like last year, I see you in Vegas.
Yeah.
Like performing in Vegas. How does that happen?
Yes, that's funny. So it was actually through Steph that has a show that she does at the Bellagio every year with Infinity Creative, Kat, and her husband Ted. And
I love the Bellagio. Bellagio's awesome.
It's freaking great, man. We've done a show there for this was going to be our fourth year. My fourth year would have been her fifth or sixth year, I believe, though she was doing a show there. And we do this big show for the VIP, for the whales. So you have to spend like $500,000 a year minimum in that casino a year.
Dude, that's insane.
Or a quarter. Something crazy, like millions.
You know what's crazy is it was probably packed.
It's packed. Thousands. 2,000
That's what I'm saying.
2,000 something people. 2,000 or 3,000 people that come to that show. And we do this huge production. It's incredible. We have all these, we have crazy songs. We have crazy dancers, all these dancers. I do acrobatics in the show, and Steph sings. And so like last year, I had this whole thing that I choreographed with like light staves and like I was doing backflips and stuff and then flipping off the stage. And so that's what I would do in the show. And then she was obviously the lead singer and she was like Beyonce up there. And so that's how that kind of came about. And a couple years ago, it was last year, a couple years ago, we performed with Bruno freaking Mars.
Dude,
really?
How fun would that be?
Yeah.
That's what, I remember him saying like all this stuff. That's why I wanted to bring it up.
Yeah, man. It was amazing because he came for the final countdown, counting in the new year. And so he shows up and he gets on stage and he sings a couple of songs and we're off with like his backup dancers and stuff like that on the other stage. And then we counted down and then it's New Year's. But funny about that, he couldn't see the clock.
Oh no.
He had no idea that we were counting down from 10.
Was he still performing?
He was still performing. He was still singing and like having a good time, and everyone's singing Uptown Funk or whatever track we're singing he was singing at the time. And it's starting to happen, and we're like, 10!
All loud.
9! And we're like screaming and like waving our hands, like trying to get everybody to count down with us. But who cares, man? Bruno Mars is singing as we ring in the new year and we're dancing. Damn. It was a great time.
That is cool.
It was awesome, and we loved the people. Like we love Kat and Ted and the choreographers, Oscar and his husband Mark, and everyone's great people, man. And it's great to work with everyone, and it's like word of mouth. That's how you get jobs. Is they say it's who you know, and it's but it is a lot of like, go meet people, man. Go meet people. Go make connections. That's not like, it's not a luck thing. Like everyone always assumes it's who you know. Oh, that just means you have to get lucky and born into the industry. No, man. You got to get out there and hustle. You got to meet people. You got to create content to show people.
I agree with that. And it's always crazy to me because I'm a huge comedy guy. I love comedians.
Yeah.
And then you hear these backstories and be like, oh yeah, I was hanging out with so-and-so. I know him personally. And it's like, wait a minute, Eddie Murphy was this huge guy. No, I remember Eddie when, and that's what it was. All those guys, like.
Yeah, man.
did that, dude.
That's how it is. You build your network, right? And if you know 5,000 people in the industry, which obviously is ridiculous, a lot of people do, but like, let's say you know 300 people in the industry, right? And you meet 300 people, you build a connection with 300 people. It sounds like a lot, but it's not. Like, I bet you guys could go through your friend list and find 300 people that you have a good relationship with.
Yeah, no, yeah, you're right.
And
I don't know about Abel, but yeah, for me, yeah. No
well, because people are like, no, I only have 2 best friends. And like, no, dude, I bet you can go and find hundreds of people that you have personal connections with, because we meet a ton of people a day and we build connections with hundreds of people over the years. And so, but that's what it is out of that group, what if 5 of them become famous? What if 6, 7, what if 50 of them not are famous, but they're working in the industry? Well, then you have 50 people that you have a personal connection with that are working that can either potentially get you a job or put you in contact with somebody that whatever. And this is obviously going from a logistical aspect, not like a personal
What would be your dream kind of like setup, like job?
Something not dissimilar to like what Tom Cruise does. Say whatever we will about him, but like, the guy's got it set. He does all his own stunts.
I love his movies.
His movies are awesome.
Gloria loves his movies.
He gets to act and do his stunts.
Mission Impossibles?
Well, it starts with like Mission Impossible 2 with
awesome,
him.
Dude.
Wow. You know how he got that, right? He's a Scientologist, so.
Yeah. We're not allowed to talk about that. You're going to have to edit that out of the podcast. They're powerful, homie.
Dude, I'm not saying anything, man. I seen those shows. Nah, man.
Nah, go Leah Remini.
Was it after Scientology or something like that? There's a show.
Leah Remini. She's been talking out about Scientology
for
a really long time.
Dude,
it's a little crazy.
Yeah.
Like
scary,
Stephanie knows somebody. It's not my story to tell, but whatever. Steph has a really good friend that was a babysitter for a celebrity couple, and to be that celebrity couple who happened to be Scientologists, she had to go through like a niacin cleanse. And like go in a sweat box and a heat room. Like they have to do like crazy stuff, man. Yeah. And that excommunication is a real deal. Like they will force everyone who's a member of the church to not talk to that person. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah, how about we move on from this one?
I think that's a good plan.
Yeah. Dude.
Anyway.
Yeah.
What were we talking
So I was working for Pepsi. Had a lot of cool stories with Pepsi. And I got to go into the Scientology building of Orange County.
I thought we were moving on.
I thought so too.
So, Church of Scientology? Got nothing
Hey,
to do
they
with
were
it?
super nice to me. I'm
after,
not saying anything. I'm just saying.
Go after Gary?
They were totally. Hey, man. I got the Catholics on my side.
That's a powerful community. Just reach out and have them come to bat for
you. Yeah, so whatever.
Oh, that's funny.
But no, there's some. I've been both the one in LA and I've been both the one here at in Orange County. Super cool people, but yeah, you can't go like certain areas.
Yeah.
They only take you here. And
it's no skin off my back.
So you were talking about your favorite. I mean, your like ideal setup or
oh
like
yeah,
job.
So something. Okay, so what I was saying with Tom Cruise is like Mission Impossible 2. He wanted to do a lot of stunts in them, and they didn't want to let him. They were like,
I remember the story.
We're not gonna let you do it. Blah 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 blah. And so he's like, okay, well screw you, I'll produce it. And he became an executive producer on it, and or is executive or regular producer? He became a producer on the project, and then he could do whatever he wanted.
Did he hurt himself on that one too?
Man, he hurt himself on like all of them.
Yeah.
He's done a lot. The latest one he did, he snapped his ankle.
Yeah.
Was that when he was on that plane?
No.
Dude, that was nuts.
No, that was crazy. But he was strapped in. He was locked in pretty well for that. So it's not like he was going anywhere.
That's insane.
Yeah, but
It's
you're
crazy.
still on a plane.
Yeah. On a jet.
Not
a plane.
Not a little Cessna.
You're not standing there like the 1920s on top of a plane like, ah.
That was crazy.
Ah,
but that's the thing is they go, because with the fifth one where he was climbing, what's the tower called in Abu Dhabi? What's that thing called?
It's in
Quayatal?
I know what you're talking about.
God, sorry, I don't know what it's called. He was climbing that, and they were like, that was such an amazing stunt, because he was really doing that. Obviously he had harness and things like that painted out, but like he was really doing those stunts, and that's terrifying. And they were like, how can we up the ante and stuff like that? So it was a building jump that he was doing, which wasn't the craziest stunt in the world. It was a hop from one building to the next. And
I think he broke his leg there.
He snapped his ankle. Yeah, and you can see the video. Like he did an interview with Graham Norton. That's probably the big one that you can see, and you see it. You see his ankle.
Graham Norton's great.
Yeah, it's freaking phenomenal. He gets everyone drunk and has a great
Graham
time.
Norton's
I love that.
awesome.
That's one of my goals, is to be on that show. And you see his ankle, and that sucks. But he also flew all the helicopters. You know,
imagine? I mean,
he did helicopter training for like 8 weeks. So that's my ideal setup is something like that where I can act and I can do stunts and I can learn things that are crazy all the time for different roles. And I get to produce because I love that. I love writing as well and creating stories in any aspect is fun for me. I find pleasure and joy in all aspects of the arts. So, I mean, I'm open to whatever, you know.
So I heard you had a job offer.
I can't talk about that, man.
Wow, that's the first time somebody says you can't talk about that.
I can't talk about that. I can't. I can't. It's not exactly. I can't talk about it yet. I will talk about it eventually, and I especially don't want to talk about it because of the state of the climate, and I don't want to upset certain people. But
I want to talk about it.
Today. I'll talk to you guys about it.
Not today, but yeah.
Off the record, I'll talk to you about it. Gee, you probably don't know, but I'll tell you about
it.
No,
yeah, off the record. Yeah,
off the record, I'll tell you guys about it.
I love it. Growing up here, and I love entertainment, and always like secretly wanting to like. Yeah. This is what the podcast is doing for me. It's like making me like, well, yeah, I'm part of this world now. Anyways, but yeah, I always followed like the weeklies and all that stuff just growing up because I was in communications. I wanted to get into broadcasting when I was in 19, but I started having kids, so I didn't do it. But I still followed all the trades. I still followed all the stuff. So when I hear you talk about this stuff, I get like, oh, Alex is doing it.
I can't remember who I heard saying it, but like I never thought that I'd be talking on a mic like this.
Yeah,
but it's fun.
Yeah,
like I love doing things that are fun. Like I love doing what I think is fun.
Yeah.
So like I drive up every morning, right, and I have like my little ritual. I listen to a certain type of music before I get to the studio. Roll up doors up. The AstroTurf and all that stuff is out. I park in the same spot. I walk in. I either get to do this or go into my office to do martial art stuff. It's just I love to do stuff that I love.
It's it's great, man.
And it's all under one roof.
Killer setup. I was talking to Salinas. Was it
Matt Salinas?
Yeah, I think it was him or one of the other guys I was working with. And we were just talking about like we have no idea just how you've been killing it the way you have been, man, in the state of the times. I mean, it's amazing and it's inspiring that you've been able to not just keep this place afloat, but thriving. Like,
you mean here?
Yeah.
Oh, thanks.
This place gets packed out, man. I mean, it's amazing. I mean, social distance properly and everything like that, but it's like to capacity all the time, like to social distance capacity. And it's incredible that
we're very thankful that whatever seeds we had been planting in the past are all giving fruit and shade when we need them now.
That's it. That's the personal relationships that you've built. And you've drawn more people in with your love than pushed people away with your hate or your prejudice. And like so many people are doing that right now, I feel like on the stupid internet. It's like I've seen so many people tear each other apart online for no reason except for they have an opinion and they want other people to agree with them. Otherwise, they're this or that or the other.
But think about it. We got the dream team, man. Like, there's days of the week that you teach in the evenings. We have AJ. We have Rafi. We have Stan that teaches on Mondays. Like, it's just like this group that we have is just insane.
Yeah.
It's awesome. It's an awesome group.
I think it's going back to, like, collaboration, like you said. We've all been together literally for a long period of time, and it's like I can go like I know what Abel's gonna say. Hey,
yeah.
I can go. Hey, I know how he's gonna react in that manner. So if he's not here, I can be like, hey, no, let's talk to Abel. It's good to see you. And I'm able to extend myself that way and say, hey, I can talk for him. Not all the time, but you know.
No, absolutely.
For the most part.
Absolutely.
Same with you. I still see people like, oh, where's Alex? Oh, hey, you know, he's doing his thing, you know. I'm able to, like, bridge out. But it's collaborations. I mean, it's knowing you since you were 15, 17, I think, maybe.
Yeah. I have so many people asking about you, and I'm like, oh, he was here the other day, or he was training, or whatever, you know. Because they don't know, because, like, maybe a night that you're here training, they're not here, or they're here during the day or whatever.
Some actors get it. Like, this guy's a tough guy, dude.
He is a tough guy.
He's a tough guy. He comes off very, like, not tough,
nice.
Tough guy.
Well, he has nothing to prove. That's why.
You know?
Yeah.
But I've seen this guy get put through the mill, and then
he's
when
durable.
He was like 19, 20.
He's very durable.
God, I've seen him go through some stuff, man.
Yeah, it was fun, man. I think that's what it is, though. I I always treat people with a lot of respect. I don't care if I know them or not. Like when I meet people, I treat them with a lot of respect. And I think a lot of that has to do with, I got nothing to prove. I feel pretty confident I can take care of myself in most situations, But like,
I think we were talking to Omar.
Yeah.
And he said something to like, I don't know why, but like high level, like jiu-jitsu practitioners or black belts, high level black belts. He's like they're all just really mellow and just chill. I'm like, dude, they have nothing to prove.
Nothing to prove, but also.
Was this in the lap pool?
We're not. Yeah, jeez.
Actually, it wasn't in the lap pool. We actually went into the hot tub after.
I bet you did.
We did. Yep.
Oh man!
And it was overlooking the ocean too. It's actually really beautiful there.
Jeez, take me! I want to go.
Dude, it's legit.
Is it Pacific City?
Yeah, it's Pacific City.
It's
like literally the pool is overlooking the ocean.
Is that the Equinox? Equinox?
It's next door to that.
Okay, you got to take
and he has a membership.
That hotel's pretty.
Literally walks in.
Oh, Pasea.
Yeah.
Oh, snap! That's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Oh.
So we're doing laps, and there's people buying drinks like from the bar. I'm like, wait a minute, why are we working out? Let's order.
That's it. Go to the swimmer bar.
Yeah, let's order a pina colada, man.
Puerto
What are you
Vallarta.
He drinks with me, not Omar.
Now Omar makes me work.
Yeah, Omar.
Jeez.
Listen, if I want pleasure, go with Gary.
I got vices.
Yeah.
Dude. I got vices.
If I want to get put to work, hang out with Omar and Stacy.
Oh man.
Yeah, man. Those guys don't. They're relentless, man.
What were we talking about? What were we talking about?
You know what I was gonna say. Great. Now we all got COVID.
Jeez.
It's crazy. We're basically talking about collaborations, doing this and that.
Oh, you were talking about rolling. You were talking about rolling with someone.
Oh, no. I was talking about the reason why I think so many high level martial artists are so chill and relaxed. There are some that aren't, and that are very like preachy and big and stuff like that, and cool, to each his own. But I think most people are chill because I think one thing is the insecurity of not being able to protect yourself kind of goes away. That whole train for war so you can walk in peace. That's literally a self-confidence quote. Yeah. It's like you just want to be confident enough in yourself that you can handle business, and when you know that, you can relax. Because you have the confidence to know that you can handle situations as they arise. But also, like for me, a big part of it was learning that you don't know who can freaking kill you.
Exactly.
Like you have no idea who can take you out immediately. Like there are plenty of people that we all know that could wipe us out quick. And we don't want to fall into that.
I was watching Jim Milanakis the other day on the mat.
Yeah.
And so he finished his training, and then he brought the ropes down and stuff, and he's like climbing them like no big deal.
Yeah.
And we have 22-foot high ceilings here.
Yeah, I was climbing.
I was climbing
around with him. Yeah.
And I'm just like looking at him like, dude, this guy would mess somebody up.
Oh, by the way, his stitches are leaking from his knee.
Yeah,
while he's climbing the rope, but he's like, I gotta get my work in.
Yeah,
like the dude's a monster.
Yeah.
I love that guy.
And you talk to him, and he's like so gentle and just humble.
He listens at like an 80-20 talk ratio.
Mm-hmm.
You're right.
Yes, exactly.
That's a good way to put
and you
it.
ask him a question, and you're like us, boom, right away we try to answer it before you're even done with the question. This guy will literally, like, there's a pause.
Yeah, he'll nod his head and think about it, and then give you an accurate response. Yeah. Because I think when you don't speak a lot, words matter a lot more to you.
Yep.
It's like that silent, strong type or whatever. And I try to do that sometimes. I'll be like, maybe I should be more like that because maybe I talk too much, and then I'll just try to like focus on it. And then 30 minutes later, I'm like,
so
it builds up.
So exactly, right? That's what I've learned for therapy. Like I've been trying to like detain, like keep myself down a little bit, not really like be this like My therapist goes, "That's who you are. Why shouldn't you be that way?
Right.
That's who you are. Don't try to be somebody else."
Yeah.
Because I would always try to be that guy. Like, let me process that. I just want to fuck this guy up. It doesn't work like that for me.
Let me process that. Yeah, I'll process that.
It doesn't work like that for me. I'm a reactor, not a, I react.
Yeah.
What do you do?
Yeah, but that's fine. We all are who we are. But I don't know, man. I'm going through this. Like, have you guys seen The Social Dilemma? I haven't watched it all the way through.
I watched just like the first quarter of it.
Yeah, I haven't seen it all the way through, but like I love the concept of it because I think, and that's been I think the biggest social hit.
But nothing on there was shocking. It's like stuff that we know.
No,
but it was cool that it was just out there, like officially there.
Yeah, I mean, it makes you think. Like if you weren't thinking about it before, you should be thinking about it now. And Mike Tyson always says, like, people say whatever those people that speak, they haven't gotten punched in the face.
True.
And that, because I'm saying, like, listen, I never argue online, because not only is there not a point, but like, people say things that they would never say to you in person. And I don't think those people are worth the time of day. Like, if you're not willing to say this to me in person, then your words do not matter, because clearly they don't have enough behind them, either truth or courage. So get out of here. Like, the only time I've ever engaged was this one instance where somebody came after my girlfriend Stephanie over something that it was political, and she was coming to somebody else's defense and trying to mediate. And then somebody who I thought was our friend kind of came after her a little bit. And I kind of went on the offensive a little bit. But it was also like, you would never talk to her like that in person.
Right.
Because I'd put the teeth in the back of your head. You would never effing say that, because you would see me there in the corner and know that there are real life consequences to your stupid words.
Real life consequences. That's the word right there.
Yeah, real life consequence. The reality is that you're scared.
One of the hardest things for me to do ever, and I didn't think it was ever going to be this hard, when I left and I went and started working for the city, I worked in the same city as my wife. One of the hardest things to do is do that, because everybody knows each other.
You mean working together?
Yeah. First time I had to deal with this, I almost beat the crap out of this dude. He comes up, and she came in, and she was doing something. We were just talking, and she left, and he goes, "Look at that ass. Look at this." And I said, "Hey, man, that's going to be the last time you ever say that, or I'll lose my job over that." He was like, "Oh, I didn't mean anything by it." I said, "No, that's my wife." And he was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry."
Yeah, turned white as a ghost, didn't he?
Yeah. And I said, "That's going to be the last time, because I need my job right now. You're never going to say that again." Second time, her coworkers. Now she's moved up in the...
So you actually interact then during the day? I thought you were like...
No.
Somewhere, and then she was somewhere, but like... Oh, that's nuts.
Oh, man. That's good. You get to watch out for her, at least, and shit, yeah.
Kind of. We literally... She's had, like... Because she's moved her way up fast, and she's pretty high up now. And there's been guys who, like, work under her, and they just talking shit. And I told them, I was like, I'll never forget this. I know, you know who you are. Came out, he was saying something, and then he realized, like, I was right there. I was like, "Hey, man, you got a lot of words, man. Can you back up those words? Because I will lose my job now. I really don't care." You know how I feel like...
He really doesn't care.
Nah, he means it.
I really don't care. Because we'll go at it right now. You got a problem, then you leave it where you're working, or you don't bring it to me, because I'm going to punch you in the face. I got called in the HR, all kinds of stuff.
He's still going to therapy. He's got time. He's working on it.
But think about thinking about working with your wife.
No, dude, that's...
And
it's got to be tough.
It hasn't been easy for me, dude. It really hasn't been easy, because people didn't all of a sudden like, or how did he get his job? Not knowing that she was an intern when I got my job, it was like...
Right. And I think that, I guarantee you, that guy's not in martial arts.
Oh, heck no.
Because the thing is that when you're in martial arts, real martial arts that respect gets beaten into you.
Yeah.
If you don't respect a guy and he's better than you, and then you get it beaten into you, respect happens in that form.
It goes a long way.
It goes a long way. And so that's the thing, that's another thing that I think people should take into consideration when trying to deciding whether or not to train martial arts or to get their kids to train martial arts and stuff like that is like, how many times have we had kids that are like act totally differently on the mat than they do at home?
Oh, yeah,
and it's
sure,
because if they act out on here,
you said it. There's real life consequences.
There's real life consequences, homie.
And people should recognize that.
If one of those teenagers is talking stuff, you have them put the gloves on and we have them spar a couple of rounds. Mm-hmm. And there's real life consequences, not child abuse, but there's real life. There's like or they get called out in class, or they say, "Hey, in front, you're gonna lead it now. Go." And then they have to shut up and get in front and lead the class. And that kind of responsibility, I think, does something to a child's psyche a little bit in a positive way of saying, okay, I'm not just background. I can't just say stuff. Now I have to think. Now I have to actually like behave. And I want to behave because I want to show respect because it's a good quality to show.
Hey, so why don't you guys carpool then going to work?
Because I start at 5:30 in the morning, dude, and she doesn't start till 9.
Totally messing with you.
Yeah, I know. People always do that.
It'd be cool, like, you know, you like wait for her, like you get out and then you just wait,
dude.
And then you drive her home.
You don't know, dude. There's days when we've like been just at each other, then we have to go work, and then like run into each other. It's like,
and you got to be professional about it.
What do you mean by at each other?
It's just like guns blazing, more like arguing.
Oh, fighting.
Yeah, like arguing, and then you go to work, and it's like, yeah, dude, it's not fun. It's not fun.
Well, you know what? I admire your professionalism and not taking your home life to your work life or vice versa. That's cool.
Hey, I can do that. I don't think she can.
Yeah. No,
I'm trying to dig him out of it, and he digs more.
Dude, I've been in that hole for ages.
I get it. Listen, doing a show with Steph has been a learning experience for sure. Because
I'm sure you go through that.
We're creating content.
I didn't even think about that. You guys work together all the time.
All the time. That's all we do is we work together.
There's probably arguments. And
Oh yeah.
you're not respecting me.
Yeah. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff of like, you know, why didn't we move on from this topic? I wanted us to move on. I was giving hints, and you weren't letting me take the conversation or this. You know, and there's arguments that happen all the time. And it's so difficult to be objective because if that had happened in a work environment, you would say, oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't realize. You're right. You know what? I'll be better next time. And that would be the end of it.
Let's think of it a different way or come about, you know.
And that would be it. But when it's your partner, you should just break up with me then. Not that she ever said that. I'm just saying that it's that. And not that she ever said. I'm just saying it's like that.
We're guys, and that's what you're hearing in your head. Oh my God.
Yeah, but it goes both ways. I'm going like, you're wrong. You're wrong. You're wrong. You don't know what the hell you're talking about.
That's funny.
You're wrong. And I'm like, I respect the hell out of you, but like, you're wrong. And then she's like, you just don't like me. You just must not like me as a person then. And it's like, whoa, both of us are totally wrong, and both of us need to just look at it as objectively as possible.
And I think Abel's arguments in here.
I think it's easier for men to do that than women. Just as a nature, not as like I don't blanket statements and what, but I think in my experience, it's a lot easier for men to just be completely cold, hard fact, objective.
I'll be honest with you guys. There's nothing better than me making my own schedule, working. It's just my wife has her schedule. She has her career, and it's very separate.
I will say that, and I told you this 100%.
It's very, very liberating. There's a lot of freedom there.
Yeah.
It's very cool.
That's training for me.
And then when you see each other, then it's super cool because she's able to like tell me what's going on over there. I tell her what's going on here, and it's actually a bonding thing as opposed to a stressful thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Instead of going,
exactly.
The whole time you come home and you're still hearing.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, when you guys work together, you know, distance makes the heart grow fonder and all of that stuff. But it's also like, you have less to share with your partner, and there's always like strings attached to what you want to share with them now because you don't want to get into an argument sometimes, or you don't want to talk about the show. If all we're talking about is like the show, and now we want to just watch Netflix, like we don't want to talk about our day. We were both there. We know what happened.
But you know what's funny though? Guaranteed. Like if there's a day where, for whatever reason, she's not around or you're not around, you guys would be like, okay, I miss them. Like I need them back now.
We do. We have those days all the time. But like now that I'm training a lot more heavily now. You know, I'm doing krav training a little bit more.
Like that video you sent us. That was awesome.
Which one?
Something about you coming to train. She's like, yeah, do whatever you want. Like run your life, or what'd she say?
Oh,
that was so awesome.
Yeah, I sent so video.
Cool.
I'm like, so honey, you don't mind if I go train right now? She's like, no, do whatever you want. You live your life.
Yeah.
But the thing is that she has a very good reason for that. And her reasoning is she doesn't want me in 5 years to regret and blame her for the reason that I'm not where I want to be physically. And so that's like a very personal reason to her, and I get that.
Well, you've always been very on top of that.
But but like lately, like with the show, I have not been fit. I have not been fitnessing. I have not been exercising. I have not been on top of it. I haven't been training. I've barely been doing acrobatics. I've barely been tricking or flipping or anything.
for the people at home listening to this, even at his like where he's at now, he's still not an average human. So it's, you know, and we take it with a grain of salt because it's kind of like
I haven't been training either.
But fitness is like I love fitness.
No, I know
love
that.
training
I know
and
that.
I love fighting and I love all of that. So I haven't been doing that at all lately. So I really wanted to get back to it because it's my touchstone. I touch it. I go back to it. This is what keeps me grounded.
Well, you got your home here.
Yeah, exactly. And I got my family right here, right? And so when I'm like, honey, I want to start my training schedule. I want to go back 5 days a week again. I want to be training 5 days a week, maybe 6 days some weeks and stuff. But it's a balance.
You know what, Mr. Alex? I think it was a good thing for you to take a little break.
Sure.
You know? We talked about it before. Like,
you just want me to come back and teach.
No, listen. You were so burnt out. I mean, literally, man.
I was teaching
you were burnt out. And you could see it. Like what I said earlier, I love doing these things that I love doing. Like every day I come in here, on my schedule, there's something that I love doing, right? I won't do it if I don't love doing it. I'll hire someone to do that part for me. If I don't love doing it, I won't do it.
Yeah.
You know? And it takes some... You have to be a little bit brave to say that because there's responsibility. So like anything you don't do, you still have the responsibility of getting that completed. Sure. So there's workarounds. You got to figure it out, right? Yeah. But it's very fulfilling to be able to do that and to say that that's what you do. You do everything you love.
Right. And right now, Hollywood's kind of shut down. It's opening back up, and it was for a while. I had like all these jobs lined up, and then we had this second wave, and everything got closed and pushed back, which sucks. But like, you know, going back to what I love is just training. Like if I had my optimal situation, I would be able to learn and dedicate my life to learning something new every couple years. You know what I mean? Like I would love to go learn something new every couple of years, you know, like right now it's jiu-jitsu. I'm going back and learning more and more jiu-jitsu and getting better at my ground game because I don't want to have that hole there. But I also would love to learn, I want to get better at tricking as well. So I'm going to be doing classes of that. But, and it's just like, I want to be constantly learning, piloting a plane. Who knows? You know, I want to always be learning things. Yeah.
I just want to clarify something. Like doing what you love doesn't mean there's no stress involved. Like you saw me the other day. Like we're getting these like
he was pretty stressed. Dude.
We're getting these messages and updates that like there's gonna be like a hard closure again and all this stuff, right? And I'm like, all right, like I have a.
That's when I was really poking him.
Yeah, he was poking the bear.
He was getting all.
And you know, so you know, but so there's stress involved, but it's different because if you're doing something you hate and you have to do it for that paycheck or whatever, and you have issues or problems, then these obstacles that are in front of you are now. I got to deal with this. I got to deal with that. It's a constant irritation as opposed to...
You know how I feel about that.
Yeah, as opposed to like doing something I love, having some obstacles in front of me and being like, all right, I'm doing what I love. How am I going to take care of this?
Right.
I'm going to use my skill set to smash this, you know, which is a very different mindset.
But you're also an extremely positive person and you have...
Well, I try to be.
You're very, very good at balance, I think. Like because you're very objective about your... about things. Like I've watched you go from, well, this is what we have to do and this is a necessity. This is also important, but I can put this on the back burner and put this in place. Like you have like a passion schedule mapped out in your mind that balances your responsibilities and your passions and stuff like that. That's like cool. You're one of the best I've ever seen at doing that since I've ever known you. And I would love to get to that place. Me myself, I would.
We were joking. I think you're the one that told me. Ryan did. Because we go like from the type of business I was doing before to what I'm doing now. And I'm like, I'm not even making a quarter of what I used to make. Yeah. And then Ryan goes, well, congratulations, Abel. He said, congratulations, Abel. Continue chasing your dreams.
Welcome to doing what you actually love.
Yeah. Well, congratulations, Abel. You know, but you know what? Whatever, man. I have a smile on my face. We're reaching the community. We're doing what we love. We get to do a podcast like this, hang out with cool people. Yeah, man. Continue growing our friendships. Continue building new friendships and new bridges, getting into other types of business. You don't know what this is going to stem off of. Like this is going to grow something else. You know what I mean? Another type of business or something else, another opportunity.
And friendships and relationships that are made. I met Dan Franklin doing this. Yeah. You know, and we do.
You guys work together a lot.
Yeah, we work together all the time. I make tons of people through this.
Yeah, this is exciting to me. This is sexy to me. You know, talking business or possibilities of meeting other people and learning about them, like I like that. It's full of life, and I like that. You know.
Yeah, it's what we live off of, man.
Yeah, it's good to have you here, man.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you for spending the time with us. And it's so good to see you training again, and just someone's kicking out there, and I know it's you because like the kicks, I could hear them all the way to my office, and I'll come out and check, and it's you, and it's good. It feels good. It feels like something we know and we missed. So thank you for coming back.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. And then for the people that don't know at home, Mr. Alex is also one member of our advisory board. So the stuff that we decide as a group, where the school's going and all that, Mr. Gary, Mr. Alex, myself, and a handful of others are who's making these decisions. Abel doesn't make these decisions. We do it as a group, and we walk stronger that way. So thank you. It's good to have you.
I want to learn how to manscape my chest hair like he does.
It's all natural. That's the trick, man.
Really?
Yeah.
It's a little scruff right there?
Yeah, it's just a little soul patch.
Oh,
That's
man.
awesome.
I got a little soul patch just right in the middle here. I've always had it, and I don't know what to tell you.
Dude, I look like a dying bear. like patchy, kind of on the back, there. It's like, oh, man.
I'm okay, to TMI, but like, dude, as I'm getting older, like I'm getting more nipple hair, and I'm like, where's this coming from?
Hey, you can't even see my discs.
Abel, what's your chest situation looking like?
You got Fu Manchu coming out of there? Or what?
I can't grow any hair. Like I got no chest hair. I got no arm hair. Like
What about?
like like just
You
my
know what?
legs are like almost bare.
Oh yeah.
Hey.
How far does that run out?
Dude, it took me forever to grow leg hair.
Yeah?
Yeah. Like I knew I was a man when I grew leg hair. Dude, I don't understand it.
Pubes?
I was gonna let Gary ask.
Got those lasered off. On that note,
Hey,
guys.
you know when you're older too, you know what you got to worry about?
Here we go. I was trying to cut him off.
Just happened to me like the other day. What? Sat on my balls. Dude. It hurt so bad. It's one of those things, man. And it's very common. You guys are laughing.
What is going
You guys are laughing. Oh, you just unplugged us. You guys are laughing, but it's
mentally.
But you know what?
Are we still on? Can they still?
No, it's still on. We're still going. I can hear us in here. It's just I think his came undone a little bit.
What'd you do, Abel? I don't know.
Abel did that on purpose.
I can still hear you.
It's his way. It's his way of censoring me.
You're still plugged in, man. You're mixed. You're good.
But I shit you not. Like every grown adult man.
Did you say? Wait, hold on. Let me ask you a question. Did you say that's very common?
Yes.
Dude, I've been living for almost 40 years now. This has never happened to me.
Not yet.
How did you do that?
Ask your dad. Just telling you.
Alex, come on. You got to chime in on this one.
So they just scooped under, or what?
No, they just kind of like
What, they finally dropped?
they lost their
That's puberty, Gary.
they lost their vigor, and they're just kind of like, those things you see on the back of trucks. You know what I'm talking about?
This is bizarre. I can't even believe we're talking about this right now.
Hey, this is a real problem.
All right, so set the scenario. What? This really happened?
Set the scenario. He says, I can't believe we're really talking
I
about
shit you not.
this.
So I'm getting in the car. Gabby decides to drive. I'm like, all right, I'll sit in the passenger side. Get in. Oh, man. What the hell? Literally squished one of my goods, dude. I could not believe that.
I bet you that got her going. She's like, what happened?
Was you
He's
crying?
like, I sat on my balls.
Like, so she was like coming in and she was crying?
It hurt. No. Shane and her are now in tears. They're crying because I'm like, I just sat on my balls. And they're just like, are you kidding me?
Okay, I've never heard that ever before.
Oh,
Have you even heard of this?
No. And then again, I've never gone around asking people hey, is this a problem for you?
We should make a shirt. This is going to be our first shirt we make.
Sat on my balls.
Sat
I sat on my balls.
Hashtag.
Happy birthday.
Oh, man. Mr. Alex, where do we find you?
You guys can find me all over. You can find me on Instagram at Real Alex Suarez. You can find me on YouTube at the Vaudacity Network. So it's youtube.com/the Vaudacity Network, I believe. Facebook, Instagram, I'm on. I'm just not on Twitter. I have one. I just never go on it. It just sounds a little crazy. But you can find me anywhere on those places. And guys, come in and check out our stuff. We do weekly shows. I won't be doing this one this week, but we're doing Nirvana this week. And so everyone's going to be doing Nirvana covers, and then we'll do.
And so we were talking about the shows that you guys do.
Yeah.
And and how they can contribute financially to that. That's all set up already. Like if they go and find you, it'll be easy for them to access and do and all that.
Yeah, so all of our Venmo information and stuff like that is on there. If you want to contribute, you can also just watch the videos because that ad revenue contributes. And I know that everyone has ad blocker, but if you want to give us some money, just turn that sucker off or keep it on and then throw us a tip or something like that. And that's how everyone kind of
very cool.
Yeah, it gets money and stuff like that.
How about you, Mr. Gary? Where do we find you?
Gary H72 on Instagram and also Facebook, Gary Hernandez. You can find us on the Boiler Room Podcast on Facebook or on Instagram, Gary and Abel Podcast.
Simpleman0707 on Instagram, Blackbelt Collective on everything else. We do have a new website up, Huntington Beach Self-Defense. If you plug that in, it'll take you there. Or if you just plug in Blackbelt Collective or Surf City Self-Defense, it'll take you there. Yeah, man. It's good to have you.
It's good to be, yeah.
Hell yeah.
We need to have you on again. I enjoyed that thoroughly.
Guys, stay tuned for next podcast. We'll have Mr. Noy from GC Krav Maga.
Dude, I want to come for that.
Yeah, that's going to be pretty awesome.
You know, hopefully soon we'll maybe invest. Maybe we'll have to add some tips or something. Invest in another mic so we can add a crosstalk.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool.
You know what I mean?
But you know what I want to do? What? Maybe it's something I got to talk to you about.
What's up?
I want to add some extra angles. Like,
extra cameras.
Yeah, and stuff like that.
I think, and
so maybe we can talk about that.
We can talk about that. Time. We can add other things like this, but also GoPros are fine. We'll talk.
Okay.
We'll talk. Cool. We should still add that monitor right there so we can see what we're
we're going to do that. So we're always thinking, as you guys see, we're always thinking of innovating and pushing the limits and growing. And that's why we hang out with each other. All right. Love you guys. Thank you for tuning in. Bye.
Peace. See you guys later.